Come on. Use that voice of yours.
Hello.
Ah!
It's on. It's fixed. We hope.
It's fixed. Guys, you might have noticed 2 episodes ago that my dear friend Vinod here was like in, what were you, in a cubicle in a submarine or a telephone booth or something?
Why don't we go nuclear? It felt like nuclear. The Red October. I think we'll go.
The Red October. Oh, yeah, the hunt for the Red October. That's exactly, and appropriately, it's in October, actually. Yeah, man. So, guys, there was a whole story behind microphones in plural form because there were multiple microphones involved. Finally, his microphone situation is fixed, and he's back with his sultry, jazzy, Barry Whitey voice. I'm very happy about that, actually, that we can actually do this. And you have to, so you have a radio voice, obviously, which usually people, when they say that, is like, it means that you're not good for video. But you are on video, because for those who haven't seen that last time, you haven't, do not follow layovers on social media, and you don't have to, guys. Yeah, we are on video now. So smile.
This is like it's a thing. I gotta get used to this. You can't just hide behind the microphone anymore.
Exactly. Neither can I. But look, so many people asked for a long time. People asked, and I don't know because I do not watch podcasts on video. But look, I've put it on YouTube and YouTube Music. Actually, a lot of people were listening to the audio version through YouTube Music. And thank you to Do Not Call Me Mike on Threads for letting me know about a little glitch there was. So you can listen on YouTube Music. And of course, the main way people listen when Vinod is on Spotify, because
That's right.
You're the Spotify king. So if you're on Spotify, on the app, you can simply switch between audio and video so you can see the faces. Look, we had comments and stuff on video, so people seem to like it. So we'll continue this trend. Only now that we have to look at it at ourselves, whilst we're not speaking, not to make some silly face.
That's right. Checking the weather outside. Or actually, really, just looking at the planes flying above, right?
The good thing, though, when I do this podcast, these episodes with you, is that because of the time difference, because you're in Vancouver, I'm in London, I'm always doing it in the evening. So I'm facing, now that you can actually see, guys, if you're on video, I'm facing a window right in front of me. And during the morning, sometimes it feels like nuclear winter when suddenly the sun appears, my face becomes fully white, at least in the evening, because it's already dark here in London, darkish. At least I can control the lightning. I didn't have to think about all this before, man. I mean, but people asked, and we're here to please the fans, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So let's wish us good luck with the video.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
And since we're on video, even for those who are not, you can still listen, and most people will keep listening, just the audio version. Although this is not the main topic of today, but there's a date reason. This is why I'm doing it. We're recording this, by the way, on October the 14th, 2025. And have you ever flown Swiss, my dear Vinod?
I have, yes.
So
and
did you get...
they are known for.
Yeah, so did you get... Yeah, exactly. I've just shown some chocolate. So did you get the small bit of chocolate at the end of the flight?
Well, not that big.
The one I've shown is 100 grams, is a full-fledged chocolate bar. But no, they give you these little ones, right?
Yeah,
and
they come out with a basket and you kind of pick.
Yes, and if you're cheeky, you take 2 of them, right? Absolutely. So what I didn't know, that was in the press release they did about that one. I'll come in a second about it. They give out 50,000 a day, which is quite a lot. Yeah, so they manufacture 20 million a year of these chocolates, man. Wow. So I know they also had full-fledged bars, like the kind of ones you buy in shops, not the one I'm holding in your hand, because it happened to me once. There was a little mix-up, nothing big, nothing that they needed to give me miles or anything to apologize for an issue. But because I was nice and they were nice, they gave me chocolate. So they have also some bigger chocolates somewhere in the galley. So guys, create some scandal to have some chocolates or steal them from the galley. But what they've done, if you have to be in Switzerland though, or you have to pass by Switzerland, or whether it's driving or flying, Migros, which is a very big... convenience center, supermarket. what would be the equivalent in Canada? I wouldn't know because
You've never been to Canada?
Yeah. See, you'll have to come here and find out.
like like a Costco,
Safeway superstore.
Safeway. Well, exactly. So Migros will sell this only until October 21st. So that's why I wanted to talk about it today, because we're recording on the 14th. And they sell the full-fledged same chocolate, because actually Migros owns the chocolate company called Frey, which does this for Swiss. So you can actually buy the same chocolate in stores in Switzerland. It's only for a month in total, so one more week, but we haven't recorded before, and taste without having to have a boarding pass. And the thing, I'm not going to do it today because I have a lot to go through today. It's going to be a long podcast. If you open it, which I haven't done, as you guys can see if you're looking on video, there's a QR code, I guess, that I will do, and I will let you guys know for the next podcast. And you can win flight vouchers. So you can win up to 1,000 Swiss francs. This is a bit, let's say for ease of comprehension, 1,000 euros worth of flight voucher with Swiss.
That's quite a bit, actually. This is the ones from the shop or from
the shop. Yeah, this is a promotion, right? To basically, right? He says, thank you for flying Swiss on it, which is exactly the same thing it says on the small chocolate that you get after a flight. And yeah, not every single one is 1,000 euros worth of voucher. Switzerland is rich, but not that much.
This is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory going on.
So if I were in Switzerland, I would have bought like thousands of those just until I end up with a flight voucher. So I only have one. So I'll open it next time. I thought at first I'd open it live on this podcast, but since there's so much to do, I want to move on. But yeah, so guys, you'll have to tune in the next episode to know if I've won the flight voucher. And I've just flown Swiss, actually. And you know what? Swiss has just was it today? Received its first, actually, A350. So if I win 1,000 euros, Swiss francs, but I'll say euros for comprehension's sakes, if I win that, I'll use it towards a flight with a 350 because they have the new business class on it. So there you go.
That's right.
So yeah.
It's interesting. I follow them on Instagram. And when I first started years ago, I noticed this chocolate thing going on. I thought, this is getting a little bit boring. Like, what are they doing? But then they started really amping it up. And you soon realized that's their brand. That's part of their identity. And
it's so cool, man. And everybody loves it. I will do it another episode. I just came back from yet another new country in Europe, and I've flown the groups. I've flown Swiss amongst others, and I'm not going to spoil it today. And yeah, I had chocolates, and I had chocolates on another airline part of the group. I'm not going to spoil it who it was. I know that you are smart. You might actually think about what it was. But look, let's play the music because, again, I have so many things to see. Again, can I? That's for you. Where's the...
I just want to tell you both good.
No, that's the wrong button. That was the other one. So the reason, I hope that the sound, the fact that we're on video makes me do the whole processing very differently. So last time I know that the sound of these the buttons I pressed was too low, so I'm amping it. Let's see if it works this time. Otherwise, we'll do for the next time. So the big thing that I said with Alex at the last time, he knew where I was going. Some very astute people amongst you. When Alex said the word celebrations, he said, I was at your celebration in the previous episode. My celebration was I was turning 50. And I turned 50. I'm 50 years old. I say very astute because some people that have been listening for a while to this podcast remember that I turned 40 on the same podcast. So I think they made the calculation. Did you turn 50? I said, yeah. And for that, I had to celebrate in style with a nice trip. And I went to Namibia.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. That was, so my wife, last time, 10 years ago, I did something that would freak out a lot of Av geeks. I had given her literally all the access to all my miles account, from Lufthansa. Yeah. And I said, you take over and you use them to go somewhere. And we ended up in Mauritius in business class. It was absolutely lovely.
So you gave her the ability to book it all.
Yes, exactly. But this time she said, no, I'm not doing this anymore because I'm going to F it up. She did it last time, by the way. She's very good at this. She's been traveling probably more than you and me. I don't talk often about my better half, but I'll mention her a few times today because she knows Africa very well. And she says, so where do you want to go? And as a gift to you, where do you want to go? And we floated for a little bit the idea of going to Japan. But then too many people, we used to live there. The thing is, she hasn't been back since we left. Whereas as you know, guys, I've been to Japan many, many times. They said, there's these few places, that we hadn't seen when we were living there. I would say, well, no, let's do. And silly me, the way I look, I don't know how you find new destinations, but I had found this picture one day of an abandoned city in the south of Namibia. It's a city that used to be, I think, a mining city and German, because, as you know, they were the colonizers there. And they left it because there was no economical reason to stay, and you can visit it. And I'm just a sucker for abandoned cities. I don't know why. By the way, headline, I didn't go at that abandoned city, though the whole reason why I thought about Namibia in the first place, I ended up not going. I'll tell a little bit of the story. This is more about airlines. I'm not going to do full travel because I went for more than 2 weeks. So that was a long trip.
That's a long trip for you.
Yeah, that was a long trip. So Namibia it was. I also talked to a friend. I remember we were having a beer in London. Daniel, he had been, and he said something that day. I remember always, we're talking here 8 months ago. He said, you can drive yourself. And I was like, oh, so I can actually take the car. Don't have to have, like in many countries, you need to have a driver with you. I can drive. People know that I don't have a car. I hate driving, but I hate driving in traffic. I hate driving in cities, but driving in the open road in a country that there's no one, yeah, that's for me. Yeah, I had done that. Guys, you might remember from an earlier podcast, I had done that in Saudi Arabia. I'd driven from Jeddah to Alula, and it was amazing. So I said, I really want to do this. Though it's a long road to travel. I'll tell you in a second. So, how do I go there? That's the thing. So I don't, there's no direct flights to Namibia from London, which is, I'm not saying it's surprising, but I'm saying usually London has pretty much everything covered.
Yeah.
Right. So there was, and I didn't want to do 3 layovers. I know that. Here between you and me, nobody else listening, we would have done 5 because yet another airport to do.
It's not questionable. That's just normal.
My better half would rather not do too many. So like, okay, yeah. Even though it's my birthday and my trip, I'll make a. That's why I've been married for 18 years and she hasn't divorced me yet. So we said, so I looked at Ethiopian. Ethiopian was one way. You go to Addis Ababa and then you go there. There was Virgin, BA, Discovery, which is a German airline that flies from...
Yeah, that's a fairly new product, that one.
Frankfurt. Did I want to fly through Frankfurt for the first flight of my 50s? No way. So I'm like, no. So no. So all this, and basically you have to route, besides the one, so Virgin, BA, you have to route through Joburg or Cape Town, so to South Africa. You could route to Lagos, but flights to Lagos are uber expensive from here. Or then, if I had taken more stops, I could have done, Qatar. I don't think Qatar does it anymore. Anyways, there were a few other options. So Virgin, BA, which one would you have chosen if you had a choice?
In current state, I'd probably go with BA in the end.
Oh, interesting. Because, I didn't have a religion on this. I'm open to either. The thing is, prices to go to South Africa, the country, from here are crazy expensive. Mm-hmm. And when I say crazy expensive, they are crazy expensive. We're talking Cape Town, like I said, 8 months in advance. Cape Town business class, because I looked at it. Of course, I wanted to see how much business class was. Business class was more than $5,000 per person.
Wow.
Yeah. Whereas, I can go to Asia for $2,000. And then Joburg was slightly less expensive just because that's friends that have told me Joburg is in a bit of a state of decline from what I'm hearing, so it's less attractive, I guess, but still very expensive. So we didn't go for business class because I was like, I'd rather spend money for the trip. I know it's the big antithesis of this entire podcast, but I wanted to enjoy the trip itself and not only the flight. So I went for premium economy, and thinking with BA, thinking that perhaps I could use miles to maybe upgrade, or that they would be nice to me because they would have seen it. I've turned 50, they would upgrade me. Spoiler alert, no, they didn't upgrade me on neither leg. But I have a theory that I'll tell at the end why they might have not.
And was
Besides
that
I'm
BA
not
all the way through? Because BA had
No,
an
that's the
operation
thing.
in South Africa.
Exactly. So I flew to Joburg. So we decided to go to Joburg, and then so they were selling, both BA and Virgin and others as well. They are partnering for Namibia with the two airlines that fly the most from South Africa are South African Airways, which is a complete shadow of its former self. I think they have like 12 aircraft, something like that, where it's not the same airline anymore.
I'll comment on that later.
You have. Oh, I didn't know that. You didn't tell me everything you would talk about later. I'll try to not fill up 2 hours with me, so that's why I'm going a little bit faster. And or Airlink being South African-based, South African-born, domestic. I'm not domestic. Like it covers the south of Africa. I think they go up to Nigeria and not up. And one thing that sold me there is that they only use Embraer. First of all, I love the Embraer. I'm tired of flying only 320s, but also Embraer means that even in economy, it's 2-2. Yes. So I would not, exactly. So it would be just me plus my better half, not having to deal with having a third person. That's great. Which, by the way, is also the configuration of BA in the premium economy is 2-3-2. So if you take a pair, you're by yourself. That's a bit of a saga. I'll get to the back to Airlink a bit later. A bit of a saga because so I go on booking, manage my booking. I'm still silver, so I can choose seats way before booking. Right? Okay. There was the bulkheads, which I was aiming at. All the bulkheads of the pairs, the two pairs of bulkheads that they have on premium economy. One of the seats is blocked, and I'm assuming that the seat is blocked because of potential babies. The cot.
The bassinet goes there.
Exactly, which is why I fair enough. I took other seats and I waited. We're talking like a long time ago. So I waited and waited and waited and waited. And during my celebration, so that was happening in August, although I turned 50 in September. Alex actually and Matt Drinkwater, I think it was you, Matt. I don't remember. There were so many people at my barbecue here at home. Said, but you could just ask them. And by the way, you could say that maybe your leg is hurting or something. And they would. I didn't end up using it. I have a big scar on one of my on my ankles because I've had a big ski accident at the end of the 90s. So I have like two big scars. That was my first helicopter actually ever taken because I had that accident. And so they said, send a picture with your passport next to it, and they would probably put you in the front because you have a medical. I didn't do that. I simply said, okay, I'm gonna reach out to them on Twitter. Don't know why I use Twitter. They only are reactive on Twitter and Facebook Messenger. They're not on WhatsApp. They're not on any other.
Really?
Or you can go on the chat on the website, but you know how it is with these chats. As soon as you close a window, the chat disappears, right? So I'm like, no. So I don't know how to have it because I had done this in the past. I used the Twitter X nowadays. I should have used maybe Facebook Messenger because I have a little blue tick on Facebook, but I don't have one on X. Anyway, this is a bit of the story I think we discussed with Alex. Took them each time I was riding took about 9-10 hours for them to go back. But I mean, I was not in a hurry. I was just trying to find whether or not they could change seats. Right. To make the story short, because it's going to be a long one. To make the story short, they said yes. And they put me in 61A, 61B. I was like, "Yay, great!" On the return flight, there was no more availability on the outbound, but on the return flight, they said, "Yeah, okay, no worries." Okay, I'm like, at least on one of the two, these are more than 11 hours flight. I'm like, I'll have a little bit more leg room. So I was like, okay, cool. Have you ever flown premium economy with BA or not?
I have.
Vinod.
Yes.
And what did you think?
Decent. Not the best, but decent.
Have you flown other premium economy from other airlines in long haul as well?
I have.
And where do you rank them? Do you rank them in the first third, second third, or bottom third?
We'll go with second third.
Second third, yeah. I've flown my share. I had never flown them. I've seen. You guys remember I've done a hackathon in a plane in a 380. This is a 380. I've done, and I was just at the edge. So the entire hackathon was happening in premium economy, but I was sat in the last seat of a business class. So I had never flown it, but I had sat in the seat during a flight because since we were occupying that premium economy cabin, I was able to sit. I'll go there in a second because so on the way in, they gave me, I think, I had booked a 63 something, and on the way back, 61. The reason I mentioned that. So upper deck, which is amazing.
Fantastic.
Which is amazing. Every single time, though, that was interesting. Every single time they were messaging, like, by the way, we have an upgrade, a potential upgrade for you. The prices were insane. We're basically reaching the prices that I would have paid for
the ticket.
Yeah, right. So I was like, nah. Interesting enough is that every 9 hours, every message, the price would be slightly different. One time it was like, I don't know, like 2,000 per person. The next time it would be like 1.8. And I was like, there's no rhythm into that. Sometimes it went up, sometimes it went back, which is fine. I always said, I was considering there was let's be clear, because I'm using Expert Flyer, but there are other tools. There were no more pairs and no more windows in business anyway. So I'm like, I'd rather have a pair with a window on the upper deck that they put me like in the middle, even though it's business. And it's the old yin yang business. It's not the new fancy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, every time I said no. So the reason I mentioned all this, because usually I don't spend that much time. I'm talking about seats and why I choose them and how I choose them, is suddenly 2 weeks before travel, and I didn't get an alert. I'm going to manage my booking because I'm like that. I sometimes will just check something. Yep. And my seats on the way back that were supposed to be bulkhead are no longer there. I'm back into like some random seats, and the 61 A and B that they have put me through are free. And I'm like, what? Guys, what happened? So I write them, and again, this time we're talking 10 hours every time. And again, find they're understaffed, because every time I was talking to someone, they were very good. It was always a different person, because I guess they have like a system in front of them that just triages these messages. Right. I was like, why? There's no rhyme or reason why they would have, because the seats were free. It's not as if, I would have understood if there was a bassinet, if there was a baby. I would have understood many, many, many reasons. Someone is actually having a medical issue or something. None of this. It took me 4 days to actually retrieve my seats, and I was a bit, let's not say anxious, but I was like, these seats will disappear by the time they tell me it's okay. But no,
someone will see that and snap them up.
That would be the only downside, because that trip otherwise was perfect. It's probably one, if not the best trip I've ever done in my life. The only thing is, like, I was every couple of days I was thinking, has BA changed my seat on the return again? Has BA? So I would go to manage my booking to make sure.
So there you are in the desert,
right? When I had connection, because there's not always, like, especially in the desert part, there's not always anyway. So look, that was fine. So I go to the airport. It's being BA. It's obviously Terminal 5, Terminal 5C. You've been to Terminal 5C? Mm-hmm. What do you think of Terminal 5C? Do you think something about it?
Is there anything else there? I mean, there's planes.
That's a bit. It feels like almost. It feels like almost unfinished. Like they started building a terminal. I mean, an additional satellite terminal, if you want. But there's like 2 shops, like, one basic convenience store and I think a coffee shop. Maybe it's a Starbucks, and that's it. There's no lounge and nothing. I mean, it's okay, I guess, but it's a bit like
it's like for all the effort to get all the way out there, you're not going to go backwards when you realize it's not, like, you're done.
Exactly. I mean, you can go backwards.
But I mean, usually you don't have time.
Yeah, no, because I was a bit early. So no, there's no lounge there. So there's useless to go. There's lounges, of course, in A and B, but I stayed in A. At least, and it's happening now-ish. These the people mover, the little train. Mm-hmm. They're replacing with a new train. So I don't know if it's because I always find that train pretty slow. So hopefully this train will be faster. I don't know. I didn't go to fast track security. I should have said that, because the thing is, she was silver, but just before travel, the 1st of September, she turned bronze. So I'm like, on my booking, it says fast track. On ours, it doesn't. So I'm like, there was not a lot of people. I said, you know what? I don't want to, it's probably going to be fine, but I don't want to argue. And since there's no one, and they have the new machines, they're installing it in pretty much all the terminal. It went and it was actually, it's not as fast as Gatwick, but it was fine. The lounge was so busy. There was no room. There was plates everywhere. I always find it a bit unkempt. It's probably, again, a problem of being understaffed. I still find out of a user experience, they should have on its app what lounges, where are the lounges, what can you access? I know because Heathrow is my airport, but I was thinking, how do you don't know that there's no lounge at C and there's lounge at B and there's lounge. It should be within the app, like. Yes. But anyway,
like every
it's
other
not.
Just saying.
So yeah, the lounge was rammed. There's no power sockets. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to Namibia. I don't care. I'm like, well, I hesitated going for a second to Aspire, which is a priority
pass
lounge. Yeah. But priority pass lounge. But like whatever. The power sockets I think there are no power sockets because they're already in 2045 by the time Heathrow invents them. Anyway, so. Yeah, go to T5C, the forgotten unfinished terminal, and the boarding
that's
is
where you go to wait for the runway to show up, the third runway.
Yeah, that's true.
Power sockets will show up, the runway, and it'll be 2045.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't know, but at least there's planes, and the 380s were there. The boarding is a mess. Everybody's a bit crammed, which is surprising. You have no amenities in there. You should have at least space for the gates, but it's not. Anyway, it's working. I'm group 2. I don't get an upgrade, as I told you earlier. It's fine. Emirates gave me an upgrade when I turned 40. I just want to say. So then, no, I don't care.
But it was.
No, but there's a reason. I think I made it, but I want your opinion. I'll tell you at the end of the story. A 380 that was, I think, first flight in 2014. So I'm at that's 63. So it's the third seat on the left side on the premium economy on the upper. The great thing about the upper deck, for those who have never flown the upper deck of a 380, is that you have on your side, you have these little storage
storage cubby.
Yeah, on top. Yeah, that's super practical because you can put a lot of stuff in these things. Because with the curvature of the fuselage, it would have been lost space otherwise. You're going to put a seat, so that's always really nice. And I just love being on the upper deck. I think it's smoother.
Something about it.
Yeah, right. That's something. It's
smoother, it's really quieter. And you just feel above.
I would say my wife, when we pass by, because you have to, when we pass by business class. She was like, this old business class, I didn't want it anyway. This is much better being in economy. I was like, okay, good. I was thinking the same. But
fair point.
Yeah, fair point, actually. And it's like, as in she wouldn't have loved paying for an old product, which, I mean, she's flown business and first more than us combined. So the food is pretty, look, they give you a small amenity kit, which is very basic, but it's still nice that they give you, still a nice leg room. Did you find there was a nice leg room when you're not as tall as me? Right, it's decent, right?
But it has that silly so-called footrest metal thing, which I don't know. Maybe if you're anyone of height, it doesn't.
I don't like it because it's too. No, I do not like it. I never put it down. However, my wife appreciated it, so it really depends on maybe how you want to sleep or whatever. So. Yeah, I really, for someone tall, I'm 6'5", 195. I found it really more than decent. You have space, basically. So which is all I want. Okay, you don't have a life fly seat. You don't want to pay that kind of money, but it's really nice. It's a bit, the entire thing is a bit dated because it's 2014 and they probably haven't refurbished since. But it's fine, honestly. It's fine. The IFE is sadly also from 2014. But between you pressing pause on something and actually pausing is maybe 3 minutes. And then when you want to go back, you say you have the double arrow back.
Yep.
You press back and it goes like 25 minutes. Oh, man, where was I in my movie anyway? So it's okay. The maps didn't work. 3D maps by Thales, I think. He kept saying encountered a problem. So I used Flighty. Flighty, I don't know how they do it and if it's actually reliable. The Flighty has a kind of flight map that gives you the route where you approximately are. So I was using that during the flight because I paid for Wi-Fi. I said, I think it was $20. I said, I paid for Wi-Fi. Why not?
Yeah, it actually keeps going. Even though
it keeps going. Yeah. It's pretty cool, actually. I did enjoy it. So yeah, I used that. The headset, didn't try it. I had my AirPods, and I just plugged my AirPods directly into the socket, and I said, I'm going to use that. There's a story there as well coming up later on in the show. The sleep, I didn't...
Quick question.
Yeah, go, please.
Sorry, just before you go on. Boarding at 5C. Did you board straight into the upper deck, or did you have to go in the aircraft and make it?
No. Straight. These are probably gates for 380s because it was directly in the upper deck. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's I think the 380s can only go to 5C. I could be wrong, but I don't think they could do 5B or 5. And they can do a Terminal 3 because Emirates flies from there. But I think that's pretty much it. That these. But I'm guys, maybe you know better. But I assume that. But no. So it's nice. Though I kind of like going up the stairs. Sometimes it can be fun. I don't know. But do you?
I have done it when we've boarded into the fuselage and everyone had to make their way up, which was absolutely.
But when you
chaos.
say you boarded from stairs as well or not?
Like straight in at lower deck
or from the lower deck. Okay, yeah, it has happened to me in the past as well.
Staircase, but the other style is the gate. You all go through the same scanning gate. And then the hallway goes up or down.
True. Yeah. True.
Or in Frankfurt, you just board like at a different building level and walk in.
Yes. Which is the case in Dubai. Emirates has this thing where you can board from the lounge. So if you're depending on where you are, exactly.
The great part about that is if it's all glass, you look down, you see like the ants of economy just
actually
in the masses.
Even at Terminal 3 Heathrow, the boarding from the lounge for Emirates, you are already directly the upper deck. Yeah. They have their own, so you don't mingle with the peasants. No, that's sorry, guys. Right. This is how it feels like. I really don't care. Actually, once in, I'll go back to my story, but once in, I think, pretty sure it was in Dubai. Not once, I think twice. I had to go into a 380 with the stairs. God, the stairs are pretty steep, and you walk. I mean, if you're in good form, you're fine. But I hope for elderly people, this must be a challenge or something, right?
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool because you really will see even better the heft of that aircraft when you walk with stairs to
and how
like that.
Wide that wing is.
Yeah, it's insane. I think actually I've read. I don't know if it's true or not. But I think I read the wing was designed for an extended version of the 380, which turned out to have never been built. But they want maybe like a 380-900 because the current is actually called 380-800.
Right? Yeah.
So they already had pre-thought that the wing should be able to have an even bigger plane. So that's why it looks on this one even bigger. I guess I don't know. So yeah, but it's still a beautiful aircraft to fly in, man. Like I said, I slept only 4 hours of the 11, but most of it is not because it was uncomfortable. It was because I was watching a movie and I was excited and I was talking and I was like, it looks, and so it was fine. Honestly, it was fine. It's not the most comfortable sleep compared to, of course, a lie flat, but it's much better than in economy. So I can honestly recommend it. It's true that it feels like the staff, the crew were doing so. Premium economy on the upper deck has a small cabin, and behind you have more economy seats. Right. It feels like, I could be wrong again, but it feels like the staff, they do the service in premium economy, and then they continue doing the service in economy. They're the same people. So they forgot my wine, which is fine. It's just wine, guys. I can survive without it. But means that they don't show up until they at the very end and they come back. So I had finished my dinner by the time they said, we're so sorry. They were very cool. The stuff was really nice. I would even say that good. What was really kind of baffling, I remember, I wish I'd written down her name because she's really cool. After 10 hours or whatever, like the last bit of service just before we land, of course she might have slept, but she was as bubbly and energetic and fun as she was on takeoff. I'm like, this is crazy energy. Like everybody's tired in this aircraft now, being like more than 10 hours here. And she's like, hey, and then super cool. I was like, kudos to the crew.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, exactly. It was the deplaning was fine. I mean, I remember there was a dude, I don't know, must have been like probably just, there are people that do not react well to being tired after 11 hours. And the guy was a bit antsy and angry, and he got I didn't hear that part. What I heard the head of cabin showed up, the BA head of cabin showed up and scolded him in front of everyone. The guy was probably in his 60s, like very politely, no aggression or no of course insults. I was like, oh wow. And then I heard the passengers in front of me, we're waiting with our bags to get out. I heard the passengers in front of me that were closer to him because he was also in premium economy. And she said, yeah, he's been, I'm going to spell it, not to have an explicit, WANKER. He's been that all throughout the flight. I was like, oh, I didn't hear that. But apparently, yeah. So, yeah, that was fun to see. The schooling was so efficient, man. Very, the guy very shut astute. Up. And, yeah, exactly. And we never see him again. Have you been to Joburg, to the airport?
Many times, yep.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, it was my first time.
The old version and then the renovated version.
Is there a renovated version? Hold on. Because
the version you've flown into is considered renovated.
Oh, okay. So you're throwing off exactly all I'm about to say, because I was about to say it feels a bit dated, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that thing hasn't been touched for over a decade, easily.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The previous
but over a decade is not that much. I mean, over a decade, if you had told me since 1977, but I mean... Look, I'll give you my thoughts, and then you can, because I'm very interested. I didn't know you went there. So we had to do just a transfer. So first of all, I'm not sure how to do a transfer there. Have you transferred or have you arrived there?
Both. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the old version, you had to clear full exit, walk, and go to another building.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But
maybe it was connected. It might have been a connected building. I don't recall going outside.
Well, but did you have to clear immigration though? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But you were doing an international transfer.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's where it was really kind of weird, because now depending on who you ask, and you can ask from AI to people that have been there and going on Flyer Talk, some say that going to Namibia is considered, of course, international is a different country. Some say that because it's so close, it's considered domestic. Anyway, I just followed, and by the way, would be my advice if you were ever to do the same type as me. Just follow transfers. It only says international transfers. Just follow that. You arrive at this, you're kind of underground. This airport at that point looked like Manchester, super low ceiling, on Terminal 3 at Heathrow.
And small, like submarine windows down the hallway.
Yes, very, yeah, a bit. But, at that point, I'm still transferring, I'm still finding and there are these booths. And there are immigration officers, but you're not. I mean, I didn't have. Let's put it. There are two separate tickets, but I only had one big backpack, which is a carry-on on my back, and a secondary bag. Right. That's it. And same for my wife. So no need to go through immigration to catch the luggage and recheck them to the flight was 3 hours later. I'd booked on purpose 3 hours, saying I don't know this airport. I don't know if it's a long. And so you have this booth and you have immigration officers. I'm like, am I in the right place? They just stamp your passport with a transit stamp. That's it. But you're still airside. Then you arrive in a pen where there's like a lot of booth for the airlines, I guess, for people who do not have yet their boarding pass for ongoing journeys. Then that's the signage isn't great in that airport. I was like, so now what? I don't need a boarding pass. I have it on my phone. And I'm looking around and I'm like, is it because I'm tired? And then thank God, because my wife is smarter than me. She's like, oh, there's a piece of stairs there. And we took them. And then you arrive in a small security, which is a transfer security, which is fine. I mean, it's a bit slow, but it's fine. It's, it's weird. It's the old machines, but they ask you to put out the laptop, but not the liquids or something. I don't forget. It doesn't matter. It was okay. Yep. And then you arrive basically where all the gates are, all the lounges are, all the amenities are. And this is where I discovered, I said, oh, does it look a bit dated? But it's fine. I'm really not saying that in a way that I found it horrible. It was okay.
Yeah, it's just normal.
Yeah, it's just exactly. Yeah. And what I liked about it, for instance, is to see, you see random shops. And they're not your usual shops. There's shops that I've never heard about, which I was happy. It's not like yet another Zara and H&M and Louis Vuitton, whatever. They were like other type of shops, and there were even safari shops. People would get dressed like Indiana Jones going on a safari or something. But I mean, it was fun. I liked it because at least it gives you. It's not the sameness that we have in all the other airports, right? And that's when I realized, as soon as we arrive at that bit, that maybe like you, my better half has, because she's been working in Joburg, so she's been to that airport more than 10 times. She's like, yeah, let's go there. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll follow you. Usually I'm the one leading in the airports. I'm like, okay. It's just, we were looking for a lounge that you can access with Airlink. The lounge is called Slow Lounge. Man, that lounge is great. But first, a bit of an anecdote when we enter. Do you know this lounge? Have you heard about Slow Lounge? Okay. It looks rather new, so I don't know if it's the space, of course, probably maybe there was a pre-existing lounge, or maybe this lounge existed you've never been to, or maybe it's been recently refurbished. I do not know. But you arrive, and so I had made a silly... When I booked Airlink, there's like in every airline, there's like multiple fares in economy. And I had read, and I'm sure people would think I'm crazy. When I read there was a Magnificent Sunbird. Magnificent Sunbird is basically a full flex fare for economy. So it's the highest economy you can get, right?
Got it.
And when first of all, I did that in case, there's a problem with the airline. Like I can easily switch to another flight if first BA is late or whatever. So that's the reason I did it. But the other thing I saw, but since then I cannot find it anymore, that you were allowed to have in this fare two pieces of luggage or carry-ons with you. And I was like, because it's a smaller aircraft, the overhead bins on Embraers are smaller.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to have trouble for them to tell me, especially on the way back, which here I wouldn't have cared if they had checked me the luggage, but no. So I'll tell you a bit later, but no, apparently it's still one piece of luggage and one small personal item. I'm dead sure that 9 months ago now, I've read this on the website, and now I should have taken a screenshot, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The reason that I say that is when we enter, she says, are you YY? And I'm like, why? So why the double letter Y means that you are the full flex fare on economy, and this economy can enter the lounge, whereas all the other Ys, so all the other fares in economy, cannot. Because, of course, a lounge usually is for business class people. But for the specific fare, they allow enter, which is cool, right? So
and that just came as part of the package.
Yes, which I had read, that turned out to be true, and it's still on the website. The two luggage piece is not. Maybe I was drunk that night. I don't know.
Maybe,
right? But the very strange bit is that again, similarly, there's no part of any alliance. I'd signed up for their loyalty program. I don't know if I'm going to fly them again. So, but my boarding pass says YY. My wife's boarding pass says Y. And so she says, you can't enter sub another. I'm like, no. I booked both together. It's the same booking number. There's no way. So they tap on the computer, and she says, okay, fine. Probably a computer mistake more than, or like a boarding pass mistake when she took
they ran out of ink or something.
No, they were like mobile passes.
Oh, right.
All that was, I did the entire thing on mobile pass. Anyway, we enter this lounge. Man, it's great. I'd even go to say it's exceptional. It's one of the best lounges I've seen. It's understated luxury. The colors remind me of the pier in Hong Kong.
Wow.
So dark wood tones, nice comfy sofas. It's on the upper floor. Yeah, windows. None of the lounges at that airport have windows directly on the airplanes because they're a bit further back. But you can still see the below. You can look at afar and see some planes. I was looking at the Fly Safair, Sam Air, all these airlines I don't know anything about. And there's a library zone, and there's a bar, and there's a business area, of course.
So this is a big lounge then.
Yeah, it's a pretty big lounge. There's a quiet zone, of course. And there are wine dispensers. I mean, it's in the morning. We landed at 7-something a.m., so no wine for me, at least neither for her. There's also a VIP area. There's a bouncer in front of it. I'm like, who's in there? And the food is amazing. It's so well presented. Everything looks fresh and also so neat. The total opposite of... BA's lounge at Heathrow. It was a mess. Everything is super neat, man, and there's everything from little chicken sandwiches to croissant. There was chocolate croissant. I was very happy. I always love my chocolate, of course, in the morning. Viennoiserie, yogurt. I mean, it's really fantastic. Great Wi-Fi as well. So and my wife, and she's traveled a lot. I'll tell a bit more about that later, as I said already. she says for her is the top 3 lounges she's done in her life.
The top 3?
Yeah, and she said the food is probably the best, or again, top 3 that she ever had. And I mean, we didn't get like a full lunch or whatever, it's breakfast time, right? But it was fantastic. And it's not here saying that we were so tired after 11 hours of PA that we were so happy to be in the lounge. The lounge is really exceptional. The slow lounge, kudos. I think it's a third party because of course it's not Airlink only, but it's absolutely fantastic. It's probably not the pier. It's probably, of course, not some of the fancy first class lounges you see around the world. But for a more general lounge, general access lounge, sorry, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, and there's this old gentleman in the lounge, and he's dressed like Indiana Jones, but like a very fancy Indiana Jones with a brim hat.
Oh, so he just went to the shop before the lounge.
So exactly. So that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, is he cosplaying as an explorer, or is he actually a very wealthy explorer? You never know, right? And for me, it's a part of the world that I don't know. So I'm looking kind of like, maybe is he? I don't know. Maybe he's just an aristocrat explorer. I don't know. But that adds to that almost patina to this lounge. I'm like, there's this gentleman with a brim hat, and he's having a cup of champagne. Of course, at 8 a.m. So it's great, honestly. And I love looking at the board. Yeah, the board because we're looking when is our the gate for our next flight, and I've written them down: Gaborone, Nampula, Harare, Maputo, Bulawayo, Dar es Salaam, of course, or Zanzibar, obviously, Victoria Falls that everybody goes to, Lumumbashi, and all these things, and this is for me that does not travel who doesn't travel in Africa. It's really, really, really fantastic to see, because it's like so different from whether it's me going to the US, which I'll go next month, or in Europe or in Asia, see stuff that I don't. And I was really, just that made me really.
So coming back to cool that they had a board in the lounge.
Yeah, they had a smaller board in the lounge. There are screens, and they had like huge boards, huge screens outside. They do not show, however, that's the only criticism I say to Joburg. They only show the next 12 flights. And it's kind of a busy airport. So your flighty was faster to give me the gate than actually them, just because there's not enough space on the actual thing. That's it. That's just it. But it's fine. I was very happy in the lounge. So that's coming to your point, renovated or not, I do not know, because it was my first time, but it says gate A25, but that's in the B terminal. So first of all, guys, if you call a B terminal, call the gates B something and not A something. I'm at the A terminal and you tell me to go. I don't know. I just followed A25 and I arrived when I needed to arrive. But it's just
in the B terminal.
Probably because it clearly is it's a bus. These are bus gates. So you walk, and then suddenly you have works. They're clearly doing some refurbishment. So the only 2 ways to access these lounges are underground, is either using the lift or using stairs. The escalators are being refurbished. There was no escalators. And I say, come on, let's do I always do stairs. My God, there were like 4 floors worth of stairs, and it's directly like it's a steep stairs, and you can see this huge hall with gates next to each other. I don't have vertigo. I do not, but do not have vertigo. Choose the lift if you were to do that otherwise. And it's fun. All these gates are neatly, one next to the other. And each gate, the bus arrives vertically to the gate, and people board. There's one, so they literally crammed is maybe not the right word, but they're next to each other. And they have all these places that are like short distances. It's a bit of a joyous mess, so not in a negative way, like a real joyous mess. And suddenly they start shouting, "Yeah, let's go!" So you go. So everybody goes together, And we are in the bus. We go close to the Embraer. We're like, "Oh, cool! We are about to board." And I see, which explains the delay. I see poor staff is removing the trolleys that you have in the aircraft with the food.
Yeah.
So he's removed them from a truck to put them in the aircraft. And as he gets them off the truck, some door open and all the food goes on the ground. And he has to
pick it up
to fix that up. And then they say we cannot board. And they don't say why, but that's the poor guy over there.
Oh no.
So the poor catering person had to.
And this is new food or?
New food. This is the food first, because I'll come to that. These are lunch boxes in carton, in paper.
Right.
So they all flew to the ground. some of them he replaced, I could see, and some of them were probably, just there, so he put them back. And then, it's always the same thing, right? For you as well. When you're on a bus, you're like, which of the doors will open, which side, and which am I supposed to?
Which way am I driving?
Yeah, so my wife and I had, it was an accident, but I would say, because let's pretend it's not an accident. We strategically place ourselves in two different doors. So one of us could maybe, out of the 6 doors, 3 and 3, one of us could actually maybe, and yes, it turns out that she was at the right door, and because I said, I told her, she doesn't care about any of this, but I told her, look, we have clearly bags that are slightly bigger than the other ones, slightly heavier than the other ones, and even our personal item, one of them is a bit bigger than the other ones, so it adds up, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's not a lot of room on the overhead bins. We have emergency exits, which means we have to put everything on the overhead bins. We have to be first, not to have to argue with the crew. As soon as your stuff is in an overhead bin,
it's done.
It's done. Then so I'm like, you have to go first. So she dashes. She's the first in the plane. I'm 5th because I have big legs, and we put our stuff. And we see at the bottom of the stairs, there's clearly a person with tags. This goes
nabbing people.
But you know what? That's the advantage. I always said in this podcast, when you have, even if it's the size of carry-on, when it's a backpack, they don't look at you.
Yep.
Because they're like, well, if it's a backpack, it cannot be like 25 kilos. It wasn't, by the way. You know what I mean? There's a psychology.
In the meantime, your back is about to break.
Exactly. Hers was actually. So anyway, yeah. So this is an Embraer 190. Do you like the Embraer as well, right?
Yeah. We have them here. Yeah. They're great.
So that was a 15-year-old, I think, Embraer for the 190. I passed by the row business just out of interest, guys, because if you've never flown Airlink, there are proper bigger seats. Also 2-2, but like really comfy, bigger, like sofa style seats. But I have my own business class because emergency exit on an Embraer, not only your 2-2, not only the seats are larger because they cannot cram 3-3 or 3-2. So, and you have the leg room because it's emergency exits. It's a business class basically. So I'm very happy to be there. It's a flight that goes for 2 hours-ish. And Johan arrives. He's the person that used to do your job, and he goes into this emergency exit spiel. I don't think I've ever had so much detail emergency exit spiel. I don't know if it's Airlink or South African regulations, but he starts like, air regulations mandate me to tell you how to open the door, and he goes into every detail. Not just like look at the thing and learn how to do it. He shows me. He doesn't open the door, guys, but he still shows.
Puts his hand there.
Yeah, exactly. There's room again. There's a lot of leg room, and he shows to both sides, and also tells you when to open, complete stop. If the belt signs flashes 3 times, then you can do it because there's a way for us to tell you.
Wow.
But if you see, ding 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 means I can open it. But if there's fire, smoke, or blockage, I need to redirect passengers to other exits. Like really, it's a long way. And he finishes, nice touch. Where it's Saturday at 10 a.m. by that time. It was a mouthful for a Saturday morning. My apologies. One last important thing, though. Please refrain opening the exit for fresh air during the flight.
Was he being serious?
No, he was not being serious. He was actually laughing, of course, and we all laugh. It was a good way to to clean after all this, clean the mouth after all these big explanations of us dying in fire. So. And by that time, I'm already a fan of the airline. I'm like, this is cool. We taxi, and then I see an old Delta plane abandoned. Were you aware that Delta, like a CRJ Delta, would actually fly to Africa?
Because I know Delta has flown into Joburg.
Yeah, but these are clearly hands me down. So this is a plane. I looked at it. I think it's a plane that was Delta, got sold to many other airlines, but they never did the repaint job, and at some point was abandoned in part of the airport. But it's nice to see when you're on the taxi, like, what is it small Delta plane doing here?
It makes you think, right?
So I was like, I need to check with my Wi-Fi what's going on here. Now there's also like a 737-200, I think, that is abandoned somewhere on the. You see it. I'm assuming is a.
I remember this plane.
Yeah, it's been there because I've checked. It's been there for at least probably 15 years. Or more.
Yeah.
So I saw it from the distance, this one.
But I remember seeing
there's also a story, I think, about, somebody not paying the bills or something. But it's always nice, these kind of things you don't... and we take off. I love... This is one of the reasons I love the Embraer. There's this push when you take off with the Embraer. Like, it takes a little bit... not as much as a 757, but there's a bit of a push, so it's kind of cool. And on the PA, interesting, this is less... there was not a joke this time. Johan said, so the flight attendant says, as a reminder, filming of the cabin or the crew without prior authorization is prohibited. Interesting that they would say that. Yeah. Have you heard that before?
I have not actually, no. And that's an interesting statement given today how much footage is out there. Yeah. Flight reviews, like anytime you Google anything, you're going to find something within the last days.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So our feeds of all our fellow av geeks that are out there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, plus, I mean, and there's in what you just said, there's I guess two categories or whatever. There's the people that just film because it's a nice memory of a trip they've never done, and there's actually people that want to do. But even, I mean, I'm fine with it. I think it's true that it's also very cultural. I mean, the law first. I don't know the law in South Africa or in Namibia, but for instance, in the UK, you're allowed, if you're in the street, it's considered not free game. It's considered that you're supposed to know that somebody might film you. There's no like right of image in the UK. Right. But then in other countries, like I think France has stricter regulations about how you can just take like street photography. I do street photography. This is why I inform myself before going to a country. Can I just take random pictures of people? And but here I guess plus it's a closed environment. Some cynics might say you don't want to show us the bad things about the airline. But honestly, Airlink is a great airline. For the 2 flights I've done, it's great. Yeah. So I don't think it was that. Anyway, it was just interesting that it would say that. And then the flight is 1 hour and 45 minutes, and their service for all people, no matter the economy, business, no matter my double Y fare. And I'm like, guys, it's possible to have proper service. Like, I mean, of course, they're lunch boxes. They're not, a tray with caviar and champagne like on Qatar, whatever. But it's good. And it's super good. First, they come for the drinks. And when I say drinks, that includes alcohol, right? It's not just a glass of water. So you can choose a drink. Then they come with these following. You have a choice. The choice was chicken or beef. My wife being a vegetarian, she had her special meal that was delivered first. And it was really delicious. It was, I think, a potato salad with chicken, something, whatever. But it was really good. And everybody gets one. Guys, in Europe, it's possible. I don't know how it is in Canada, but they don't do that anymore here.
Nope. Same thing.
Right.
Yep.
And anyway. And so we're flying west-northwest, so over Botswana to go to the capital of Namibia. That the final to WDH airport, which is today's airport, this show's airport. They do like a zigzag, and then they turn super low, and you have the G-forces, and in your seat, you're like, what's going on here? Like, I guess they have some restrictions on how the airport is super far away from the city. From the size of the city, which is 500,000 people, the airport is is like 50 minutes away. No, let's not exaggerate. Maybe 35 minutes away. They have a new motorway that gets there. But anyway, so I'm like, I don't know why. Maybe because they're animals. I don't know what. But it just finally is pretty intense in a good way because I like it. So it really goes. You feel the banks pretty intensely, and you see from the window like, oh, there's a road because you're so banked. It's really cool. And we landed on a single runway. So how I'm not testing you. I have an issue when I speak English is that I think of the words in French first. So the first names, the names of cities. That's where I'm not fully bilingual. And so, for instance, I made a mistake with you. I'm supposed to call you Vinod. The first time, I think the first show we did together, I called you Vinod because I thought in French first, and then I was trying to, how can I Americanize or Britishize this in English? Mm-hmm. How would you say the capital? Windhoek. How would you say? I would say at first I said Windhoek. Windhoek. I was trying
most
to
people
be
say
smart.
Windhoek, but I know it's Windhoek.
It's not that. Windhoek, exactly. It's Windhoek. Yep. So Windhoek Airport. I mean, it took me 2 days to figure it out because I was like, I could have gone online, probably figure it out by myself, but no, it's not Windhoek. I thought it's Windhoek. Like it's really like it's Afrikaans basically the way you pronounce as a Dutch person, right? So, but it was not evident to me. But anyway, the airport is called Osea Kutako International Airport. I think is the name of a hero. They changed the name of the airport when they gained independence in 1990. It's a very young country, 1990.
1990, that's it. Wow.
Yeah, they were. South Africa was ruling them, and then with the end of the apartheid, they also left, and it got its independence. And that's the way when they changed the name of the airport. So you walk out of the plane. It's one of these airports, man. You would love it. You just walk, stairs, and you walk, and you're the only aircraft there, and you walk, and you can see the entire apron and the runway and the facilities. They're not big, but it's still cool to have this kind of experience. And it's sunny and it's hot and it's just so cool to being able to see an airport.
You really feel like you've arrived somewhere.
Yes,
like a destination.
Yes, the same way I felt, because it was also a holiday when I went, for instance, to the Maldives. It's a bigger airport, the one in the Maldives, but because you walk on the ground, you have this kind of like, I've touched down, like myself physically, not only the aircraft. So it's a small airport. Have you ever been to Namibia or not?
No.
Okay. So it's a very small airport. It's a small country. It's a very big country. I think it's almost twice the size of France. So it's really big. However, it's only 3 million people, I think, or something like that. So it's really empty, which is one of the reasons I wanted to go there, because there's no one. And so the airport itself is very small. I think they have less than 1 million passengers a year. Wow. I think pre-COVID they had a bit more. They haven't, it seemed, fully recovered from COVID, as in for tourist visitors coming in. At best, maybe it would have been 1.4 million pre-COVID, right? So it's less than one. So it's a very small airport, small operations, yeah. And they don't have anymore as well Air Namibia, which was their national carrier, which flew to London, to Frankfurt, because it was making so much losses that during COVID, the government said, you know what? And the losses were pre-existing COVID, right? They said, let's forget about it. Just close it down.
They had wide bodies too, right?
Yeah. Because again, London, player. They were doing London, and I think they even had plans for the US at some point. I don't know if it's true or not, because I didn't really look it up. But so basically, most of the traffic you will get will be Airlink. They fly probably 15 times a day to South Africa, whether it's Cape Town or Joburg. So that's them. And then you have a few others, like I don't think Fly Safair. I think I mentioned it. And then you have Ethiopian that comes once a day, I think, or no, not even every day, but a few times a week. You have Fly Namibia, which they're basically a small domestic. They take you to safaris, basically.
Right.
I'll come to that in a second. I didn't take them, but I'll come to that in a second. And and that's pretty much. There's a TAG. The guys from
Angola.
To Luanda. Yeah. Apparently, it's a very bad airline. I don't know. I've read reviews. Guys from TAG. Please prove me wrong, but that's only what I read. I haven't flown you, so I'll keep being Swiss here. I'm being a neutral stance. Anyway, so not a lot of traffic. Like you arrive, and you're the only aircraft. And a few other times you can see that at best there's maybe 2 aircrafts, maybe 3, and then there's no one for hours. So it's kind of really a small operation, right? And I had read online like, oh, immigration is dreadful. It takes forever. And now I was preparing mentally myself like, okay, well, no. And, when you're in emergency exit, you already have the plane is in front of you when they go. Yeah. It took me 7 minutes. It's super fast.
You're only as slow as how many people fit on an Embraer. Yeah,
exactly. Maybe if you come with Ethiopian 350, that's a bit longer. It's possible. But, I mean, it was really fine, man. It was... the small queue, and then stamp, take a picture of you, stamp, and off you go. You have a small luggage belt thing. And I see the telco. That's very important. At least I have 2 SIM cards always on my phone, 2 eSIMs, sorry. And I've heard no one has an agreement basically with a Namibian telco. So you need to have to buy a plan there. So I took a SIM card with gigabytes, 30 gigabytes or whatever for the more than 2 weeks I was there, because it would act as a GPS in case. I had downloaded all the maps, Google Maps and organic maps and whatever maps, just to make sure that if you're in the car you're not getting lost. Impossible to truly get lost, guys, but so I wanted to have in case at least in the bad. But anyway, half of the country doesn't have connectivity anyway. So and then cash, and then that's it. But the say cash because it's also closed currency. You can only get it there. That's it. And then, I'm out in the arrivals, and I'm like, this is so tiny, and the guy who was waiting for us to drive us is there, and there we go. So it's a cute airport. Airport. So now, because I don't want to take too long, I'm not going to, of course, describe the trip to Namibia within. I know a lot of people would like to, but no, because I want also this guy in front of me to be able to say something at some point. I'll still take 4 vignettes if you want. But before that, because you mentioned Discover, the airline, the German airline that goes there. Actually, Eurowings used to go there to Windhoek. And Qatar also used to go there. They both stopped. So Discover is this German airline that I had looked, as I said, I didn't want to go to Frankfurt. Just an anecdote. That night, I mean, in Windhoek, there's not a lot of things to do. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sure that people in Windhoek, they adored it, but I didn't find it very soulful, this city. Everybody, and you do that if you ever go one day, you end up at Joe's Bar. Joe's Bar, yeah, where you drink very good beer, and they have very good beer. They have one beer called Windhoek, which is my favorite.
Yes.
Tofel is the other one, but Windhoek. Actually, Namibia is the oldest industrial brewery in Africa. I think it opened in 1920, I want to say. It was, of course, Germans, right?
Yeah.
Wherever they go, they bring beer, which is a good thing.
There was a country I traveled to where the Windhoek beer, it was a thing. Everybody was drinking it.
It's really good.
It was really good.
It's really,
this
really
one
good.
country, I don't know, they must have had like an import relationship with them.
I think now they belong to... Do they belong to Heineken now? Maybe.
Could be one of these things.
Because it was Distel at some point. The Distel got bought out by Heineken. Maybe that's something like this. I'm not entirely sure, guys. I don't know. Guys, we're not a beer podcast anyway, though we love our beer. But the reason I say that, of course, it was because I discovered that beer that night. But, it is one of these places where everybody hangs out, right? And you have great food. I took like I forgot the name. It was a game. So it was, not traditional meat. It was game. It was still a schnitzel. I saw that on the menu. Like, I need to try this because, it's very German influence, of course, a lot of the food. And, of course, local as well. But you have this mix of influence that is there. Anyway, and there's this guy next to us. And you just chat to people. You're in a bar, in open space, outdoors. And turns out is American. It's super cool. Have you seen the show called Landman or Paramount? It's a show about guys in Texas and oil. Doesn't matter.
I know the show.
Yeah. So that was a bit
have
hip.
it on our queue list.
Yeah, it's great. I loved it.
It's like the Yellowstone, but in
the writer
industry.
of Yellowstone. Yeah. Exactly. So that same grit in the show. That dude was basically Landman. More physically better because clearly guy ended up telling me he was like 63, but it looked like he was not over 50. And you start talking to him, and it's the stories can only happen in places like that. The guy was like, "Yeah, I used to extinguish oil rig fires in Iraq, and then I fixed a deep water oil spill, the famous one." And I was, By that time, I understood which company was working for. It start with an H, everybody will get that. And now he's basically seeking oil in Namibia, right? So, but he's there like on R&R with 2 Nigerian colleagues and friends, and he's a super gent. He looks like a mercenary, but he's a gent, right? And over here he says, "Oh no, you shouldn't." No, I don't know. We end up talking airline, of course, and he says, Discover Airline is an airline that carries cattle." And he said that in a way that basically said, "Yeah, it's really low costy, no room, no amenity type of airline, and that airline should die or something."
Oh, wow.
Like, okay.
Oh, cattle is in the people reference to the...
Yes. So I'm very glad I didn't take that airline, though. So I was like, okay, well, maybe. I don't know, guys, if Discover is that bad. He didn't have a very high opinion on it. So let's go to my vignettes, and then I'll do the return, which is less long, and then it will be... Vinod's time. So, have you? Because you told me I didn't ask you before. You've been to South Africa, the country, and maybe to others around. Have you ever done a safari?
Yes. Yeah, I haven't done the overnight one, but I've done I haven't done an overnight where you go and sleep in the desert.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah.
But I've been out on the Jeep and seen the
animals. Is it something that it was like kind of a bucket list thing for you, or was it just because you were working there or because you were traveling there for work?
More the latter. It was more like the bucket list because I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working there, traveling there. I'm like, well, I need to go. Must go see.
Well, of course, right? I never had any inkling to do a safari. Literally, when I said at the top of the show that I chose Namibia, for me, what I love is these big vistas, open-ended views of countries. When, of course, when you drive, but not only even if you don't drive, to see like these big, of course, the desert, but also the rest. This is what attracted me most, not the safari. But of course, because you're there is a part of the country, there's multiple, but there's one very famous part of the country where you can do safaris. It's called Etosha, and next door there's a private game reserve, Onguma. And I will just say as my first vignette that nothing, because I'm driving, I have this Toyota Ford Runner, and it's a great car because I love Toyota. I used to have Toyotas. They never die, these cars. And I have big spare wheel, because the big thing that can happen there, of course, is that you can have a flat, and they say always, either have a flat or you will have a windshield break because of rocks. But anyway, I'm there, and nothing can prepare you for the first sight of an elephant, which is 2 meters, so 6 feet on the side of your car. So I'm driving, going to that lodge in Onguma, and then my better half says, and I'm like, I turn, what the fuck? Me too. And I see an elephant just right there, and I'm like, what? It's amazing. And at the same time, I'm like, what do I do with my car? Do they think I'm a threat? I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just keep driving, I guess. I don't know. And I kept, and it was all good. But I mean, nothing can prepare. And I will say that, or the huge ostrich we saw like 5 minutes later in front of us. So like, okay, the ostrich.
I'd be more scared of the ostrich than the elephant.
Yeah, well, actually, it's actually much bigger than I thought. I've seen them in zoos and whatever when I was a kid, but I'm like, oh my god, because now you also have the car as a comparison. So you're like, my car is the elephant, of course. Let's not even talk about that. Or the zebra family. All these, I just said that I was never attracted to safari. I'm not sure I'm going to do one other in my life, but this is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. I will say it's very humbling to see these animals in the wild. And the fact that you can drive yourself. Yes. So in Etosha, sometimes you drive and suddenly, in front of you, you're like a family of zebra, they're crossing the road. You just have to wait. And it's not off season, but there was no one because it's September. September, school has started. The parents who have kids cannot go. And even if you don't have kids, which was actually a bit my clients, they were very happy for me to celebrate my 50. But September is a busy month. Leaving in September in the middle of work is really weird, which meant that the country was also not as busy. It's never really busy, but it's really not as busy. So you're on your own. You see like a family of zebras, like, okay, I'm going to wait. And you wait and you wait. And when they cross. And I love that, man. I just adore
awesome.
that. Of course.
So awesome.
Yeah, I saw the lions and everything. But my favorites are the zebras and the giraffes. And there's a small chicken-like animal. It's really chicken-like. And it just, they walk in groups. And they always cross the road. And they're being called locally as the bush police, because it's like a police. It's only they appear and they block the road and then they disappear. And it was my favorite. I don't do souvenirs. I even bought like a wooden bush police. Anyway, so that was fantastic. In the hotel, in one of the hotels. So we did a mix of kind of more luxury hotels and kind of not luxury hotels, because sometimes, we would change hotels maybe over more than 2 weeks, maybe 13 times, 12 times. So,
so you're on the move a lot.
Yeah, on the move a lot. So those type of hotels, when you arrive late and you leave in the morning, I'm like, I'm not going to pay a super expensive hotel. So I took that was one. And I remember there was a government-owned hotel in Etosha Park. And first of all, there's no electricity when you arrive. That happens. My better half, who traveled a lot in Africa, is like, yeah, this is Africa. Don't worry, I'll come back. I didn't worry, by the way, but it was kind of fun. And it says when you do the check-in, it says, watch out for the jackals with rabbis. And I'm like, rabbis. So how am I supposed to know they have? Do I need to ask them when I see a jackal? Can I say they have a clean certificate of health or something? I don't know. I loved it. Second, okay, let's accelerate a bit. Second vignette is Damaraland. So it happens that it's chronologically just after. You see a sign that I had never seen on the road, and the sign is basically, it's a sign in a triangle that says, well, goodbye road, now it's gravel, it's dirt road. And basically 80% of my trip was dirt road. They call it, and that's some people on the ground that told me, like some local guides, they told me, they call it African massage because when the corrugation of the street, the washboard, the car, everything moves, and I love driving. So I mean, I'm 4.4 and I'm like, whatever. And the stick moves, the dashboard moves at the same speed at the front, everything moves around.
Stomach's moving, everything's
exactly. These were probably the toughest of the roads I've done, but not a single car. And you have a dust trail behind you, times white, at times ochre, depending on the color of the road. But anyway, you want to see in front, and not only the road is tough, and you need, when you drive on these roads, have you driven on gravel roads? Your high side, you want to look at the vistas, but then again, you have kind of look very close to the front.
At the actual road.
To avoid the rocks because I don't want to get a flat. And I don't want to go too slow either. So I'm like, I'm going. So, and the roads at our time fully straight. At times they resemble a serpent spine. They move like this. It goes up and down. The sky is deep blue, and the mountains are rust red, and they're rugged around you. It's really, and they're chiseled, and that washboarding keeps happening, and I'm still not used to it at that point. But I'm like, whatever, I'll keep it. Sometimes especially on the way up, my car goes a little bit like a crab because it's 4x4. I'm going slightly too fast. So suddenly, I'm like, I need to correct this now. I'm maybe going too fast. My wife is giving the side eye, like, no, I have this. And you go through rivers, and it says risk of flooding, but everything is like, dry, bone dry. So you drive to sand, and it's really really nice. It's the vistas were probably one of the most beautiful I've seen, and as we stop at this lodge, we build atop a hill of stones, natural stones, and you have this 360 view around you, and there's an airstrip. So I'm like, okay, I have Wi-Fi now. I need to learn about the airstrips. There is more than 800 airstrips in this country. And they're all like, well, here I'm talking, some of them are like private, obviously. Some of them are like just like built in the middle of anywhere. And some of it, I think registered is like 300, and the rest are just almost 900. And this one was clearly one that was used by bowlers. When I say bowlers, like instead of driving like me, you can do one stop and you take a little plane every time, like a Cessna or something. I didn't want to do that because I really wanted to enjoy the driving and the vistas. But there's a lot of them. I saw so many airstrips, man. And some were manned, or there's one or two guys waiting for an aircraft to land, and some are like, they're just an airfield and there's nothing on gravel, and I guess somebody lands eventually.
The man from the lounge with the hat,
a baby,
he's going to land at those. Right?
There you go.
And his Land Rover Defender is going to be hidden under a tree on the side.
Interestingly, at first, I read many hotels, many lodges, their lodges, and etc., desert camps and stuff. They all say no drones. So for a while, I thought the no drones was because, privacy. So you don't want to bother other guests. And they all told me, no. It's just because of traffic. Because there's so many of these small aircrafts, they don't know where they're going. We cannot allow drones because otherwise at some point there will be a crash because you have a lot of these small aircrafts going around. If people play with their drones, so drones are basically a no-go in the entire country. Of course, they cannot control if you're by yourself in the middle of where I was in Damaraland and I didn't have a drone. But if I had a drone, nobody would have seen it. But there's a risk that you can hit an aircraft, actually. That's the reason they do not allow drones, more than the privacy of your guests that they want you to not having a drone over your swimming pool or something, right? So it's just interesting.
That much uncontrolled airspace.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. Wow. And one of the airlines I mentioned earlier, one of the airlines that flies is Fly Namibian is the biggest of these airlines that do these little trips. And they have an Embraer 145, but I think mostly Cessna and Beechcraft. And they do the little thing. I didn't do. It's quite expensive. This is a country... On the ground is not expensive, but the entire experience is quite expensive. It's not something you just do like on a weekend or something, right? So, and there's a second airport, actually, I didn't know that when I was there. There's a second airport at Windhoek, which is this kind of general aviation plus these small planes. It's called Eros or something like that. So there's yet another airfield there. Anyway, when we exit, more epic vistas. You feel like in a Western movie. And then suddenly it changes and it's... tiramisu dark, I would call, what the color of tiramisu. and then the sand turns into cappuccino, and then the sand turns into even clearer. And I will, because every single person I told, male especially, not women some, but the guys, every single person I said, I'm going to Namibia, they all ask me the next this follow-up question, which is, are you going to the Skeleton Coast? Because the Skeleton Coast was featured, I think, in a Grand Tour with Clarkson, May, and Hammond. And so I had added, of course, this. At first, it wasn't planned, and I said, you know what, let's go. Because the weather is like Ireland there. You know, it's like it's nothing sunny. You're back into like the wind comes from the west, and it's cold-ish, right? And I get it now. It's the best drive I've ever done in my life.
Oh.
By a huge mile. I don't know what could go to say that. What a blast. Not only you have the views of the sand that keeps changing, and then suddenly you have like a little patch of green, and there's even a sign that says, do not get out of the car, lions. You're like, okay, and then it's back to the sand. You're driving on sand. There's no more gravel at this point. It's pure sand, and sometimes you're close to the sea, so the sand is a bit wet. Sometimes you're not. And you look ahead, sometimes the road is so straight that basically at the end you just see a mirage. You don't know where the road is actually ending.
But it is demarked as a road.
Yeah, it's still, so they put like little flags on the side of the road, and you can see that they need to maintain it.
Okay.
Because if they were not to do anything, the sand pretty quickly takes over, right? With the wind takes over, like the dunes keeps changing in that region. Man, that drive, man, and you're by yourself. And yes, you can drive a little bit faster than the official limit if you want. And it's the best. I get what I didn't do the entire thing that they've done because they went really up far north. But basically, when you reach north, you have to either go to Angola or go back. But yeah, and in the middle of that, an airfield, and there was like a dirt. It was mixed dirt, mixed sand airfield in the middle of nowhere. It feels like you're on Mars. The sand at that point is gray, and they've put like stones. It's the only reason I realized it was an airfield. I'm like, these stones they've been here. Like I'm driving out, there's stones. They really marked a big airfield, like a runway, if you want, with stones. And I don't know, clearly there was some marks from a plane, that at some point a plane must have landed there. I love that. As an av geek, it was like, I took pictures, of course. I was like, this is, it looked like Mars. I'm like, why is there an airfield here? Yeah, it's, so this place, you do it for the drive. The Skeleton Coast, you do it for the drive, more than the destination. Because the destination is really fun. It's like a pirate-inspired lodge. And all I did that night was watching Manchester United against Chelsea over a very good game. The meat was delicious, but there's nothing really to do there, right? So
I was going to ask did you have a chance to take in the stars?
What do you mean by
like look up?
Oh yeah, there's like you can see everything. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, you can see everything because there's no light pollution.
Yeah.
Yes, nothing light. So at that. The Skeleton Coast, it was cloudy because it's Ireland, guys. It's really Ireland. It's cold, it's wet, it's damp. It's you have to have your windbreaker and probably like a pullover. It's not like, but in other places, yeah, you can see this in front of you. I mean, that's something. And the added fact, since you asked me that question, the added fact of peacefulness that I found in that country, which, as you can understand so far, I loved, is I had almost never a network. So it's not even that you don't want to check stuff from work, is that you can't anyway. So after 2 days, you just forget about it. Never check your phone. You're in the thing, in the travel. Plus, I had done something that I started to do a few years ago, and I do more now. Is like I didn't over Google the place. I'm like, I want to be surprised.
Yes.
I don't want to know everything before I go, because otherwise there's no surprise, man. So I'm like, I had to a little bit because you still have to know where to go.
Of course, you do the basics, yeah.
But the rest, it was all discovery. And I was like, oh my God. And that drive, yeah, man, the best drive. Yeah.
Incredible.
You just
sounds
do it.
Incredible.
Yeah, do it. And then we drive down the same drive on the other side, and then you continue and you stay on the coast. You stay in the Namib Desert. I've done there's stops I'm not mentioning here because I want to go faster. There's the Desert of Session, the famous dead trees, etc. They're all very, very nice. The apple pie at Solitaire, which is a stop, when you put fuel, because this is the important thing. At that part of the country, there's not a lot of fuel stations, so you need always to be fueled up. By the way, so these parks, these are all different parks, national parks, and you have to, every time there's like a barrier, you have to go to a booth and pay an entry to every single, even the Skeleton Coast is an actual park. They ask you, do you have enough fuel? Because otherwise you have jerry cans to actually add to top you up, because it says you're not going to be able to find fuel the next 2 days. So I knew,
wow.
Yeah, I knew that. So, and the fuel tank on that Toyota was maybe enhanced because it's pretty big. I knew that, so it was almost stopped when I reached that bit. But because I'd been told, I must admit, I'm not under pressure or whatever. But I'd used the help of a travel agent for the first time in my life, because I like some of the stuff I'm not sure, not enough information online, and I've been recommended one that was local and they're very cool. So, but they're called, they're French speaking, but they're very cool. Anyway, so we drive down, and it's still, so after the Skeleton Coast is maybe not as spectacular, but it's still a desert. You're still driving on the desert next to the sea. You're driving on a mega beach, basically, right?
Yeah.
And the sound is becomes red. Again, bypass some stops. And one night we're about to go, and I hear like a lot of noise outside. I'm like, what is that? Is that an animal? Because some of these lodges, they say, don't go out during the night because elephants might be there. And I'm like, okay. So they're like, it's still, the sun hasn't gotten up, so I need to pay attention. No, it was the wind. And man, when the west, so they said, one of the guys told me there, west wind is nice. The wind from the east is bad. But when the two are together, it's really bad. We had a sandstorm. Driving under a sandstorm is pretty awesome, actually.
We've been driving in it.
Well, I had to go. I mean, it was not crazy sandstorm. It's not like, we're not in the Mummy, the movie, right? Well, yeah, so I had another experience there. And we entered this private game reserve called the NamibRand. And that landscape was my favorite. You have faraway hills, the Chisel Mountains. You have a sea of yellow, because what happened is that even though it's a desert, it had rained month earlier. And so the greenery had come up, and now it was, of course, yellow because it was drying. And so you see a sea of yellow, and you see red dune sands, and you see Chisel Mountains. Sometimes it's like as if someone had put rocks on top of each other. It's like, is that natural? Is that someone like on the beach, you put these rocks?
Yeah.
And it's absolutely incredible, man. It's all the colors that I've seen on this trip, they were present there, from the dramatic red sand to and shaped by the wind, to the yellow, to the blue of the sky. It was just incredible. And you had quiver trees, and you have oryxes in front of you, and spring boxes. Very few, because not a lot of animals, but you see one or two, and another couple of ostrich that was just next to us. Like, oh, hi. I'm just passing by, guys.
Don't mind me.
Don't mind me, exactly. So there's, and the terrain kind of undulates between, there's this open wide views, and the terrain undulates between like this ruggedness of the like canyons, and at the same time, and the other side, you have these soothing, massive sand dunes that create something. And then at the end, you end up actually driving on sand. You need to use for those who drive 4x4, the low speed, because otherwise you're going to be stuck. And and the horizon almost like swallows your shadow, because it's so infinite. There's almost no shadow, and the mountains are watching you like, what are you doing here? Like they've been here for eternity, and you're there trying to disturb them or something. That's a pure reverie. And I think at that point is one of these points where I didn't say a word. I mean, there was pure silence outside. I didn't say a word. My wife didn't say a word, and it was silence, because you cannot speak when there's so much beauty. I've never seen anything like that, man. You need to go. I'm just saying, you need to go. And then that morning, we wake up at sunrise. I woke up at sunrise just because I woke up and the sun was, and you see the orange hues over that yellow that I told you, and the red sand dunes in the background, and a little bit of the green of the few trees that are there. And then there are gem boxes, impalas. They're coming to you, and they drink in front of you. And you're like, coffee doesn't get any better than this, right? This is just, sorry, just, so that's the end of the vignette. I was just going to add one little anecdote, is because I said I had the sandstorm, I had the sun, I had the cold from Ireland. You remember I told you that the rivers were bone dry, and I was going in them, right? The pre to last day, and I'm happy it happened. Nature was happy. It rained, thunderstorms. When you're trying to negotiate a mountain pass and it rains, it's not rain. It's like a deluge. And Mike, I was a bit silly as well. I'm in the. Do you remember this thing called the Camel Trophy? Like these guys were like in Defenders.
Yes.
I felt like that. I was like, oh, there's a big thing of water here, and my car was exactly, and my car was red water because, of course, and then another one, and this one, my car went yellow because the sand was yellow at that point, and I was having a lot of fun. I was still being careful because at some point it was a bit. Oh my God! But I negotiated well. Not that I'm the best driver in the world, but I was being careful. And that was absolutely fun to do that. And when it dried on, I was in the Dakar rally, the Paris-Dakar. I was like, oh, now I can. Because at the end, with confidence, not that I didn't have confidence at the start, but at the end, with confidence, you tend to, so the limit on proper road is, on highways, if you want, is 120, so 75 miles per hour.
Okay.
Was I not going a bit faster sometimes? I cannot say because I don't want to plead the fifth,
yes,
right? Because it's illegal. On gravel roads, they say usually it's 80 kilometers per hour. It was written 100, but most people recommend 60, so not to go too fast. Yeah, at the end, that was I'll let you be the judge if I respect the laws always. Yeah, and that's it. Look, I did 3,000, just a little more than 3,000 kilometers driving. So,
wow, that's impressive.
That's 1,000, if I correctly, 1,900 miles, 1,900 miles, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. So back to planes. The very last place I stayed had not a view, but it was not too far from the airport. And I saw actually the 300 Airbus 333 from Discover. Right. And I was like, I'm going on flight radar. I'm like, where is he coming from? So it was coming from Frankfurt. The funny bit is that the day before, he had been to Palma de Mallorca. And you're like, this is weird routing. Well, Palma is also very, Germans love it as well. So I guess.
High volume.
High volume, exactly. Yeah. High volume. So I can check in online with BA. This is going to be much faster. I can check in online with BA and Airlink. So I'm happy.
And you have your seats at this point.
Yes. Oh yeah. I've been checking them. Yeah. And the seats are still there for BA. Airlink, I'll again have the emergency exit. The same ones we had 11 A and B, I think. A and C, because I think they don't, even if it's 2-2, they, for some reason, it's, anyway. But I arrive at the airport at Windhoek and I'm like, there's a big bus of tourists coming in. I'm like, if they are on the same flight as me, I need to beat them to security, beat them to everything. I don't want them to have, because I see, pardon me, I'm going to be ageist. There were also elderly people. I'm like, it's going to take forever at security, which I have not talking. So I need to go fast. So I'm rushing. The first thing I need to do, and I did is change my cash back because it's a currency that you cannot change anywhere. But then I'm like, go. And I arrive at the dock check and they look at the mobile boarding pass. Like, no, you need to print them. What? No. So we rush to the counter. They said, can you print them? That was very fast. They print proper boarding passes. The two, actually, even the BA one, even though it was not the same ticket, whatever. And then rush. And we're still ahead of that bus. I'm like, yes. That security was nonchalant, as in, they see my power bank and my charger and they ask what they are. And when I reply, they don't even listen to my answer. So I'm like, okay, was it just for show? You asked me what they were. Anyway, it was fine. Immigration is that slow, but it was fine. It's a small departure area. I went to a lounge called Paragon, which you can access with a priority pass. It's okay. It's nice to have a sofa instead of, gate seating, basically. And the food was pretty good. Meat, because that's been the theme. There's meat everywhere in this country. You eat meat, right? Which I love, right? My wife being vegetarian, thank God there are a lot of options. She's a pescatarian, so she can eat fish. She was happy when we were on the coast. So it was a nice lounge. And then, because that's the funny bit of that region, we go in front of the gate 5 something, I don't remember. And suddenly they start shouting. I'm pretty close to the start of the queue, right?
This is a bus gate.
There's actually walking gate.
Okay, right.
There's 2 gates. Actually, they're using 2 gates. One is business class and the other one is everybody else, right? So I'm in front of the everybody else. And they start shouting. And now first I hear them because since I'm in front, I hear them talking on the walkie-talkie and exchanging. I'm like, something is happening here. And so they start shouting that we are switching gates because there's two Airlinks. So the two Airlink aircraft arrived pretty much at the same time, one from Cape Town and one from Joburg. And they should have gone, the one from Joburg back to Joburg and the other one. Simply, the way they parked is that the one from Cape Town went to in front of the Joburg gate and the one from Joburg went in front of the Cape Town gate. So they just said, move everyone. But they said it not loud enough that everybody was confused. And I was like, okay, I told my wife, you go check the other gate. You ask if it's true because I want to keep being first in line, right? So she goes, she signs me yes. So I go. So we are able to stick to that first. By that time, for the next 20 minutes, they hadn't changed the screens. So everybody was confused. Chaos, in a fun chaos. But everything was delayed anyway. Both flights were supposed to depart pretty much at a 10 minutes apart. And people are coming, which are you going to Cape Town? No, that's Joburg. Yeah, but your screen says, but the screen is wrong. It's not updated. And we're like, it was so funny, man. It was like, okay. And then we told delay. We hear, because I can hear the walkie-talkies. I'm like, okay, yet another delay. And then I got caught. I told you I have the backpack. So I still have mine. But my wife had put it on the floor and they're starting to check. And she's come to say that these need to be checked. Because again, if she had it on her back, it doesn't trigger, but she didn't. And I start to argue a bit like, yeah, we have a short connection. I mean, we have 3 hours, but she didn't know that. Can we have a short connection? And she's like, yeah, but they call it sky check. Is you're going to be able to retrieve it
on the other side.
Yeah, at the bottom of the stairs. And I'm like, I don't know if I can trust her because I'm like, Joburg, you can do that? But I'm assuming you can, but I'm still kind of, but anyway, no reason, no way to argue. And I'm not going to tell them what to do. So we put a little tag on it. And then after more delays, they're like, oh, you can go. And so it's a basket. You just walk to the aircraft. One of the reasons that there was a delay is that whilst the delay was happening, the Ethiopian 350 arrives and you have like a 350 full load of passengers have to walk in front of you. So you cannot mix passengers. So we had to wait for the entire aircraft to be empty. Actually, you could hear staff because people, they just arrived for them. So the people who are taking pictures, like, no time for pictures, move. And I was like, hey, I agree, move. I want to be able to go to my aircraft. And we go to the aircraft. We walk. It's not just that close, but we walk. It's super sunny outside. It's a bit hot. And we wait. And then I understand there's another commotion. And then she said, oh, I don't think we can board already. And I'm like, no. We walked here. The entire gate is here. And by the way, they had made both business and economy lines go at the same time. So I was in front. I was the first, right? So I was like, I'm not losing my space.
So they just mashed everybody up and you're all standing.
But we're still in online, because people are very diligent. When they were following the line to go to the aircraft on the apron. And then the captain comes out from the stairs and says, "What are you doing here?" Like not to us obviously, but to the flight attendant. It's like, sorry, to the ground staff, and another commotion, whatever. And he says, "You're not supposed to be here. We're not fueled yet. We're waiting for the fuel from. It's fueling the 350. It's fueling Ethiopian. And so you need to go back." So and then me and another passenger, whom I didn't know. We're like, no, we'd rather stay here. We can just watch, from the outside. I don't want to go back. It's nice. It's not too hot inside. It's a bit cramped and whatever. And he's like, no, you need to go back. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we start turning, and then I don't know if it's us, probably not. He's like, oh, whatever, board now. And so the entire aircraft, we board. But it's a commotion because people are confused. The staff
forward back.
The ground staff had started going back to the gate, so we left on our own devices here. The group of first 10, if you want. By the time he says board, he doesn't say board to them. He says board to the people he has in front of you, which is us. And then I'm like sneaky. We're like, you know what? That sky check thing. I mean, just remove the tag. Let's go.
Exactly. You have the whole cabin to yourself at this point.
Exactly. And I will add, before people criticize me for doing that, first of all, you're not the only ones. A lot of people, because we actually did remove the little yellow tag. A lot of people didn't even care and they just entered. When boarding was actually complete, there was still a lot of room on the overhead bin. So they were maybe too eager for that. So
Got it. They're just doing their job.
Yeah, exactly. Which I fully understand. And then again, that safety, very a thorough explainer of the emergency exit door. Like I wanted to say, yeah, but I've been on the same aircraft 2 weeks ago. Also, this one explained to me how I should put my hands. You should know that, Vinod. How I should put my hand to cross to redirect passengers to another exit.
Yes.
I was like, okay. Well, I learned a lot during this trip, man.
I'm surprised they didn't tell you about the rope.
What? Tell me about the rope. See, I need to find them again. Tell us, what's the story of the rope?
At least on the 37, because that's the aircraft I flew.
Yeah.
On the forward door, on the 800, on the dual door, there is a safety rope embedded inside the groove.
It's true.
And if you're in a proper, it's more of, I think it was when you're on water, the flight attendant may instruct you to take the rope, and it was always funny in training, take this rope and attach it to the ring on the wing.
The ring on the wing.
So if you look out at the wing, there's a tiny metal ring structure.
Yeah.
Very small.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like attaching a carabiner. So you're supposed to march this rope, click it, and that becomes like your sort of handrail. So you can hang on to it while you're on the wing, clinging for your life as you're about to fall into water and flames. But you're only doing, if you're the flight attendant that's there, because at this point you initiated the evacuation, you've made it to the door, and you find an able-bodied person such as yourself, you scream at them and say, take this rope and attach it to the ring on the wing, go! And everyone else hanging onto the rope.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. It shows that I haven't flown a lot of 37s in my life because I live in Europe simply, right? So, which is, but this was an Embraer, so I guess there's no rope. Maybe, guys, if you know more than us, maybe there's a rope on Embraer that I don't know about. Well, they were very thorough as well, I should have said before. And I don't know if you've encountered that in other countries. The flight attendant was going, it was the same on the fly, I forgot to say it. She went to every single row and she asked all of us to remove, for those who had like AirPods, AirBuds, whatever you have, to listen to the safety procedure. Which,
for the entire plane.
To the entire plane. She went row by row. It's not like an announcement, please remove your headphones. She went on the way in. It was Johan, I said his name. He went and he says, please. I didn't have any by that time, but I mean, like, oh, okay. Only that because of all the commotion, the delays, whatever happened, they never did the safety procedure. I don't think they did. They did to us because we did the emergency exit.
You're the lucky 10.
But I don't recall an emergency. I was like looking at my better half. I was like, did they explain anything, or did we just the guy was like, let's go the same way he said, let's board. Let's just go now because enough of all this commotion, enough of these sky check tags. Let's just go. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did, and I didn't hear. But it felt that people were asked to remove, and then we left. I was like, okay, I'm happy because then I'll be on time to my flight for back to London and Joburg. So, but yeah, it's I'm like chicken or beef. I had the lasagna. No, that's a joke, of course. But great food again wine, again beer, and everything is free. And guys in Europe, wake up! Why can I not have that on a less than 2 hour flight? Same. 20 minutes before landing, ask every row to remove the earbuds and headphones for landing. To being able to pay attention in case something happens. I mean, they didn't say that. I'm supposing that's why they do that, so that you are fully there for the last bit. I don't know, man. They just came and did. I was not at that point listening to anything.
Was there a system to plug into if you wanted to? Like an IFE system?
No, nothing. And I should say by that time, which is why I mentioned the headset of BA. I had these AirPods, the big ones. They crapped out during my trip, so I couldn't actually make them work. So I couldn't watch anything during that. Not that I wanted, but during that Embraer flight because there was nothing. Of course, for such a short flight, they don't have screens or whatever. But if I wanted to, I had my phone, but I didn't have any, AirPods. I didn't have anything headphones. So yeah. So no, I couldn't watch anything. But no, they still ask people to do it. I don't know if it's good or not. Maybe they want people to focus on the end.
Yeah.
So Joburg, same thing. Transit, the usual. I say that as if like you have been like so many times. Different lounge called Bidvest. It's really not as good. It has the best
names of lounges are just amazing.
Bidvest, Bidvest. Yeah. I don't know. Look, I went on. You go on. You probably do that as well. You go on your Priority Pass app, and when there's multiple lounges, they have their own star system, and then you go quickly Googling like which one. And I had done that prior, and I said, okay, Bitvest is the one with the best, clearly reviews. I'm like, and it seems big, and it's whatever. So it's good. Honestly, it's not the level of that slow one I've done. It's a bit dated. Lots of leather sofas. You know why they're very comfortable? Because these sofas have probably seen that many bottoms, so they're now plush and soft. Yeah, but that was very comfortable, however. So the food is okay. The bar is nice. So it's a bit dated. Like the airport, I found it a bit dated, not that well kept, but it shows. But it's fine. And 380 back. What I didn't understand on boarding, and guys, I promise you, finished. And we have another hour for Mr. Vinod. The plane had landed 12 hours before, right?
Yes.
It had arrived in the morning, waited all day at the gate, and when we board, it's not ready because they're cleaning it. Like, how? Why?
Really? So it sat there in filth for the whole day.
Because I saw the guys coming out with the trash, like you see the people with the high-vis vest, his yellow vest, and they are. So I was like, it's been there since 6:40 a.m. and we're like 7 p.m.-ish, and it's not ready. I don't get it, man.
That's
I don't.
Really
it's fine because on such long flights, if you have to wait a little bit, it doesn't change anything in the big scheme of things. But I'm like, why is it not ready? Bulkhead seats this time, so the 61A and B that I wanted. Yes, there's more leg room. There is, and you would like that. My wife didn't like it. You don't have that little thing you said for the feet.
Footrest.
There's no footrest.
Yep.
I was like super happy not to have one, and she was like, "Where is it?" And like, yeah, well, I mean, there is one in the seat, but it's kind of a weird one. But there's not one in front, because there's no seat in front of you.
But does it have a thing that pushes your calves up when you recline?
A little bit, yes. Yeah. You're right. Yes, absolutely. I will say, contrary to what I usually do on both of these very long flights, I gave the window to my better half just because. I mean, there's two reasons. The first is night flight. There's nothing to see. But also because I know she will sleep the whole thing, so if I didn't want to bother her, so I was an AL person, and it was actually fine as well. I mean, with that leg room on both ends, it was actually both flights. It was really solid. There was a massive thunderstorms on departure. We already had like massive. We saw the flashlights, and the entire terminal was going white like this, and then there was rumbling. So when we were boarding, we're still hearing that, and on takeoff, it was all around us, like not dangerous, guys. It's just impressive, right? And you see flashing and everything boosh. And imagine the 380 is a pretty stable aircraft. It's one of the most stable. It was shaking, man. It was like, I was like, how are the guys on the lower deck
at the back thrown around?
Oh my God, it was big. And over Congo, over DRC as well, later on, there was a big shit happening with clouds. I don't know, it was the middle of the night, but I got woken up. It was really moving. It had been a while. I mean, I'm just saying because it's fun, and the 380 is a super safe aircraft. I was never afraid of it, but it's impressive. You remember these things. I'm like, damn, it's shaking, right? The food, you know what the advantages of having the catering done in Africa compared to done in London is that the chicken was the size of an elephant. It was so big, the piece of chicken they gave me. I was like, I was very happy. I was like, wow. Yeah,
just to end your meat trip off with one final kind of.
Exactly. That kind of switch, because at the beginning I was like, they advertise premium economy as saying you have a better seat, you have a better service. I think it's the same food as in economy. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it is. However, they keep saying you'll have a pre-departure drink, right? Mm-hmm. Only that they don't want to pay the taxes, so the only pre-departure drink was orange juice or water. And I'm like, if you advertise, at least do it. Otherwise, just don't advertise. I don't care not having one, but just don't say it's part of the service, and then you don't want to pay local taxes to actually open a bottle of something for the small premium economy cabin. Anyway, that's the end of the trip right there. I landed at 5:30 a.m. at the Heathrow on a Monday morning, which meant that 3 hours later I was working. This is very weird. the cool thing when I left, it was a whole commotion again, and I was like, "What's going on?" The Springboks, so the rugby team, was in. Actually, never. I didn't see in the whole thread of it, but they were right in front of us. The entire business upper deck was the entire Springbok and their entourage. So they were playing. They were playing a match in London, a game in London, and so they were. I knew they were because they all had their, the green collar with a short number. They even had, each of the players had a carry-on with their short number on it.
Oh, personalized.
Yeah, nice. And people were asking for selfies. I'm like, my hide was still in Namibia. So there you go. Look, that was pretty long. Look, I said, I felt hard for the people. I will say that you clearly have been to Africa, and for me, I really don't know that continent well. And that smiling optimism or tactile bonhomie, I don't know. It's palpable. It's something that Mel, she's my wife. She's worked in places from Casablanca to Kisangani to Dar es Salaam to Ibadan in Nigeria to, of course, Lagos and Cape Town and Joburg many, many times. And she's also worked in Japan. That's where we were together, in China, in the Middle East, and even in LATAM, in the US. She always said her favorite continent by far is Africa. And now I think I get it, man. I get why. It's the people. It's tactile. It's hopeful. It's contagious.
Yeah, it's
you
genuine.
Want to smile, and it's the loudest smile you can have with there. And it makes me happy. It's everything to me. So it's too soon to say because, of course, there's a recency bias. But yeah, it could very well become also my favorite continent. I'll go back. That's for sure. It's already in the planning actually. But it was absolutely fantastic, man. Yeah. So
amazing.
There you go. That was a bit long. Sorry for that, but it was probably the best trip I've done in my life.
Yeah, it's neat to hear the update on the premium economy product, because when I worked for BA, it was the version 1 of World Traveler Plus.
When was version 1? Because I'm not sure if this one is not also version 1.
That's what I'm wondering. Because if you're saying yin yang seats, so
yeah,
I mean, when I worked for them, it probably
2000.
6-7 when the first 777-200s came with them.
Yeah.
So the seat was light blue, and it kind of had like that sort of larger, puffier feel. I don't know what version they were running on the A380.
I have this. I believe it's the first version. First, because the second plane was for 2013, so it's not that new, and they haven't refurbished them since. And also because I flew, when I mentioned that the hackathon in the air was 2016, I want to say, 2017. That was exactly the same product. And at that time, there was no version 2. I think it's still version 1.
2 versions then, yeah. Because I hope, because I've not flown the other version, I haven't looked at a picture. I hope they don't really change it too much, because at least in terms of room, and I'm tall, so I take space. It was agreeable. Of course, it's not, guys. It's not business class. Did I sleep as well as if I were like on a live flight? No, clearly, but I didn't care. I liked it. It's okay, man. The service. I've done other premium economies in other airlines where probably the service was better, and maybe I feel. Don't you agree that some premium economy in other airlines, the food seems to be from business down, and some of them it seems from economy up. This one seems economy up to the point I think it's maybe even the same food with added pizzas, like maybe better drinks or something. I don't know. That was originally, which is fine. I remember how they marketed that. It was economy up, but you're right. The business down version is,
of course, better. Yeah, of course. And I want to add, and then I'll let you speak for the rest of the show. I want to add that the reason, I said at the very top of the show, why did I not get upgraded? First of all, I was not expecting to be upgraded at all. Let's be clear. I'm not an entitled someone that thinks that, why did I not upgraded? They should know it's my birthday or I'm important. No, not. But I think there's 2 reasons. Because first of all, the first reason is because I think I did book 2 tickets on one booking, and so they would need to book to upgrade, of course, 2 people. Yep. It happened to Alex, so it can happen, of course. Mm-hmm. I had never seen throughout the entire pre-flights the upgrade option on the website or on the app, which always happens when I'm a solo booker. As I always see, do you want to go to business class? Here, it never happened. I don't think the IT
full, like actually sold out.
No, because Expert Flyer showed it was not full, at least from what I understood. So maybe their IT cannot support having two people being upgraded at the same time. Then that's maybe my mistake, actually. My wife doesn't care, even though she's pescatarian, so she doesn't eat meat, basically. All right? She doesn't care. First of all, she doesn't judge anyone, of course, but she doesn't care if whatever, she says, there's always pasta. I can always choose the pasta. So I don't require a meal pre-ordered. But me to be nice, but probably too nice, I pre-ordered and I'm wondering because of what we just said. You're right. Because they say, because they only board the meals they need. Maybe they have a little buffer, but not that much. If because business would have required a vegetarian meal in business style instead of the vegetarian meal premium economy, they probably said it's not. The system says no, we cannot do that for them. Not that it would have guaranteed me an upgrade, but maybe by being too nice to my wife. No, I'm never too nice to my wife, but I maybe locked myself out of an upgrade.
Yeah, it probably wasn't because it was vegetarian. I think it's probably just a system block that says any special meal. Because if you think like a kosher meal or that's going to be a lot harder to execute than,
And also because the difference, since we just mentioned that it's an airline that clearly is economy plus, I don't think they would serve you, at least they don't want to have a policy to say, we're going to serve you a premium economy, which is basically an economy meal in business if you were to upgrade
that would be against standard.
So that's why I think I will not test this. Maybe in the future I will not give her. But I mean, it just I was just thinking, when you have 11 hours in a flight, you're like, okay, and I was thinking, maybe that's why. Yeah. Not again. I would have maybe not been upgraded, no matter what. I'm just saying that maybe this prevents you. If any one of you has flown, particularly BA, because that's an example here, but it could be any other airline, and you've ordered a special meal and you've been upgraded, let us know. I'd be very interested if it actually ever happens. And I'm not talking like 6 months before. I'm talking like at the gate or close to the flight.
Instant upgrades. Yeah. You mentioned South African Airways. I want to just briefly.
Did you find them during their heyday or
during their heyday? Yeah. It was in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And they were fantastic.
Oh, wow!
At that time, they had the 747-400s. They had the full fleet, massive fleet.
I think they retired them in 2015 or something. The 47s.
I think this is. Had they joined the Star Alliance, or maybe just around that time?
Yeah. They're still actually. I think they still are on Star Alliance. Yes, which was, to be fair, when I was thinking, I'm like, should I maybe book them to have but for the little bit of points I would get, I'm like, no, I want Airlink, which was fantastic. I will say this airline is fantastic. I recommend it. Mm-hmm. So, and have you flown since the whole revamp of South African?
No. On my last trip to South Africa, I didn't fly South African. I flew. I forget one of these other low cost carriers. But it was a great memory of it because I would go between Joburg and London or Cape Town and London during this time that I was there. One of the flights, and you mentioned boarding an A380 by steps. I boarded a South African 747 by steps.
Yeah.
And it was I don't know if it was old or retro livery. They used to have like that Afrikaans, because the original name of South African Airlines was an Afrikaans.
Oh, yes.
Set of words. Suid-Afrikaan Airline. It was that, and it was the orange tail with the animal on it, the springbok or whatever it was.
That's actually cool, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of the airlines, small airlines that I've seen in Africa, of course, play with animals and bright colors. Mm-hmm. And when you live in the land of Euro White, where everybody is boring, you're like, this is cool. Like even like the name I told you of the Airlink, magnificent Sunbird, and I think they are the Skybucks is the name of their frequent flyer program. I love that kind of. Of course, it's cliche, but at the same time, it works better than Great British Bake Off Club thing.
Avios.
No, sorry. Yeah, Avios. Avios is the worst name. I don't. Yeah, I never got used to it. Anyway,
so I just remember boarding this aircraft. I mean, the current livery, which has been around for a long time, still looks fantastic. It matches the flying and everything. I remember boarding this thing, thinking, "Wow, this is like a pre-apartheid kind of era going on." So it may have been a retro livery. It may have been just hadn't caught up with the paint. And it was brilliant. It was one of the best flights I've had that I remember from that time period.
Were you going for work or for holidays, or because you were working actually?
I was working in South Africa, and I went up to London for something. Maybe it was a break.
You're a spy, man. You're a spy.
Yeah.
That's what you.
I remember coming into Heathrow, and there was a massive backlog, air traffic backlog, and we had to do the circling.
Is that surprising? Right?
Yeah, right.
That's Heathrow for you.
I think Beacon Hill. Is that one of the holding zones?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's also an airport. It's a private, not private. It's for general aviation. I landed there once in a private jet. Sorry, happened to me once.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nice. And it was just one of those.
They tend to avoid that now because they have this system where they. I mean, of course, for long haul flights, it would be different, but they're pretty smart about not letting the flights start unless it's all stacked pretty well. Which is why on short haul in Europe, I sometimes wait. Because Heathrow doesn't give the go ahead, so you're like in the ground in Zurich or whatever, and you wait until because they don't want you to circle around the city.
Yeah, this one I think was an unexpected because we were almost an hour. In holding pattern, which was
1 hour.
And it was in the clouds. That's what made it even freakier.
So
there's no point of reference except when the aircraft's turning. Yeah.
Yeah, times. That's I mean, at least the clouds. You're in London. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, my Brits friend, but it's a bit true. Like we're back here. You don't. The big issue of having gone in September in Africa is that it was. I mean, of course, I had Ireland in the Skeleton Coast and in Swakop and whatever. But I mean, otherwise, it was beautiful. And you come here and you're like, my God, there's the crash of going from there to nearly winter. It's not winter yet, but before you go, because we'll go to a few things about this.
You've never been to Canada?
Of course, with you. Because, now that we do these episodes, once with you, once with Alex, I try, and it's hard for me, not hard, but as you have so much going on in work that sometimes I was getting comments on stuff that you said, and I'm like, oh man, I cannot say that to Alex because then it doesn't make sense. So I need to save them for when Vinod is back and blah, blah, blah. So you remember that we discussed that Narita rave thing?
Yes.
The club at Narita. Yeah, right. And I was telling you how I would have loved to learn how to play the music we love on this show, and I can't because I don't know if Spotify and YouTube would strike me with a copyright thing. And I said that one of our listeners is a DJ, and I asked Garrett, that's his name, Garrett Godet. Garrett. I don't know if I should say Garrett in an English way, Garrett, or Garrett in a French way, because Godet seems more like French. I don't know, man, where you're from, so apologies for if I'm butchering your first and last name. But he says, I heard you mention me on the latest Layovers episode, so 149, the one with you, Vinod. In short, having a music podcast on Apple or Spotify is impossible unless you work with a label or publisher to license their music. During 2020, as an independent creator, my show got pulled from the platforms, and now he releases mixtapes and live sets on Mixcloud. So I'll put, you know what, Garrett? I'll put the Mixcloud link in the show notes. So for those who like, because I remember, the reason I remember that he was doing that is during COVID, we were all at home. I remember his sets, and I was like, oh, he's one of our listeners, and he's doing this. So apparently no. So sorry, Vinod, we're not going to be able to play any kind of music during the show. It's really sad.
Oh,
and
so sad.
He also sent me something that we need another goal for you and me, Vinod. There was something called the Zurich Airport Day Party, and there was DJ sets. Have you seen that as well?
I saw this on a feed.
Oh my God.
And it was on their viewing deck.
Yeah, I think it's on the viewing deck. I think I know the airport. I was there actually a few days ago, but I was trying to figure out. I think it's a viewing deck, but I'm not sure. But you can see the planes departing in front of you. Probably
and
from
it's in the daytime,
10:28.
right?
Yeah, it's a daytime. Yeah, and like golden hour. I don't know what time he finished. I don't have the details. He just sent me an Instagram reel. Garrett sent me an Instagram reel. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you dance on the airport ground next to the runways, and it says on that reel and others, "We'll be back." So, we need to know. We need to know when is the. And we have someone, Dominic Blasco. I forgot, man, where you wrote that to me, whether it's Instagram, whatever. He says that raving at Narita I need to say that he, as an nav geek and a pretty well-versed raver, listening to layovers is a great way of killing time in a queue for Berghain or Kit Kat in Berlin. And he said he's actually done it. So there are people listening to this podcast. Guys, if you don't know Berghain and Kit Kat in Berlin, it means that you do not listen to that kind of music, because if you were listening to that kind of music, you would know what it is. There, Google it. And I'm sorry, I'm not being like condescending when I say that, but listening to layovers on a queue for enter Berghain, I think that's the highest praise we could ever have as a podcast.
Perfect mashup right there.
It's perfect mashup. And he says, Dominic Blasco, he says that he will join us at you and me at Narita whenever we go. So that's a challenge. Let's
got it.
Let's do it. So
Challenge
Canada. Do you have anything to tell? Because I know you have something to say about Canada. I don't exactly what, but I know you have something.
So I mentioned a few times, I think almost every episode you say, where's your next trip? And I will say, oh yes, wide body domestic.
Yes.
I believe this is like a bit of a unique phenomenon. I mean the US, the whole continent, North America.
Yeah, North America.
But in Canada, it's a lot more focused. So,
what do you mean no more focused? Are the pilots better and they focus on the runway?
Because there's so much fewer airlines than the US.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah.
Big country, obviously to fly from one end to the other non-stop, we're talking 6 hours point to point.
That's true, actually. Yeah. I've never done it because I've never been to Canada, but I can assume for the size of the US, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And we have our major airports, Vancouver, Toronto, then you have Calgary, you have other centers. So I typically always plot between Vancouver and Toronto because I have to go for work and society meetings and whatnot every quarter. Out of Vancouver, Air Canada is the major player for that route. We have Air Canada, we have WestJet, and then there's also Porter. So you mentioned the whole Embraer thing, and Porter Airlines, they've been for years, they started as a Q400 operator in Eastern Canada, and then suddenly they came on the market with the Embraer 192. Fantastic, a lovely aircraft. It's great. Yeah. Although the one thing that's funny about flying on an Embraer is the windows are high and farther spaced apart than
it's not wrong.
The other stuff.
You're not wrong. I kind of like the squarish windows. They're a bit, more square than the usual we found on Airbuses and Boeings, and also the what's the name? They belong to Bombardier.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of like. It's true that they are a bit. Are they not also not only taller, larger a bit? So that's maybe why they're more spaced out.
And those was just higher. Like
me as a tall person, I like it because some of these
towers, it's fine. Yeah.
I'm like, I need to crouch to see something.
Yeah. So out of Vancouver, the choice to go across the country is more thoroughly plied by Air Canada. So, I think your feeling of an affinity for BA, I have my own special affinity to BA because I worked for them, but in terms of daily life is like mine to Air Canada. It's
okay.
Like the flag carrier that's there.
Yeah, it's there.
They're not the best, but they can be very...
It's just there.
Yeah. They can excel. They have highlights, but they can
Are they like, I'm not going to be happy. We're going to say now, are they like BA? Do they still believe they're premium and no one else actually believes that anymore? Sorry, debate. I know we have a lot of people working at BA listening to this, but sometimes, guys, honestly, sometimes. Okay.
I don't think it's as deeply rooted as some of the qualms of BA, but it exists. Now, the wide body domestic. So the reason I mention all these airlines, they have Porter, so Embraer, narrow body, and then you have WestJet, who is a completely 737 fleet for domestic operations. They have Dreamliners, and they run those internationally.
Internationally, exactly.
Yeah. So that leaves then with Air Canada with, a pretty solid wide body fleet. And this fleet has been a culmination of many airlines that have been merged in over the years to get them to where they are. So whenever I go to pick my flights, like we said, I think in our last time we recorded, you got to pick the wide body as the first choice. Like,
of course.
Why would you not?
Of course, 100%, man. If there was a wide body between Joburg and Windhoek, that's the first I would have taken. I mean, of course. I mean, it's a law. The law of AvGeek. You need to be in a wide body.
So the wide bodies that we choose, it's typically always going to be a 777-300.
Okay.
Or a 787-9.
Do you have a preference?
Yes, but there's going to be a twist to that. Now,
okay,
if you don't go with wide body, you're left with either the Max 8, which I'm not a fan of, not because of the history, but just
I know.
Meh.
No, just for me, and I know people say, Paul, you're only on 320. How can you judge a 73? I've flown. I mean, the Max, for instance, lot in Poland has it. It's just that because the fuselage is slightly narrower.
Yes.
The seats are, by definition, slightly narrower as well. So I think just the 320 is slightly more comfortable. Now, in terms of the avionics, I think they're both fun aircraft. They work and etc. So I have also a preference for the 320.
Yeah. Now, another major component of the Air Canada fleet is the 321. They've had 321s forever, like over 20 years. And in the last 3 years, they've decided to refurbish and put new life into these aircraft. Full cabin retrofits, everything. So those are kind of the choices that are there. So, going back to the wide body thing, I want to reference back to a trip I did in June. So, this is kind of a 2 to 3, I guess it's 3 days on paper. I would leave on a Thursday. I'll come back on a Saturday. My times are pretty much prescribed. I like to leave early afternoon out of Vancouver because with the time difference on your watch, you're landing almost 9 hours later because it's a 3-hour time difference plus about
I see. Of course.
4-ish hour flight.
Yes.
This kind of thing. So I think about where I'm going to be, accommodation, my next morning. And then, I have my meetings and I like to get back on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And this is where it always...
What?
It just never goes right. So there's usually always two options. There's like a 6 p.m.-ish departure, 8 p.m., 10. Maybe there's like an 8 or a 9 somewhere thrown in there, depending on the season, depending on what's going on. My wife always complains. She's like, you're never on time coming home on these flights. It's not like, 20 minutes. She's like, it's always like hours, like 2 hours through it. And it's true. In the years I've been doing this, I've been rocking in home at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m., severe delays. So whenever I go to book these flights, I sort of do a big sigh and think, what's the plane doing? Let's see if I can do some research. And then I look, wide bodies. Are they going to be delayed? Are they not? Chances are less maybe because, they're going to run the international operation as much on time. Whereas
I see what
the Max coming in from a smaller...
Yeah, I see the compounding effect of yeah. Okay.
So this trip in June that I did, I went out, or was it in? I never know anymore. I went out on the 777-300, right?
Okay.
And these are the high density versions, like pretty much everyone else in the world, the 3-4-3 configuration.
Yeah.
They used to run, when they first got them, the non-high density version, it was 3-3-3.
Oh, nice. The good old days.
Oh, it was fantastic. There was not really a bad seat in the plane for the most part. Even if you're in the middle of the middle, you're still only one seat away from the aisle. So
yeah, exactly. Which now, I don't think we are old enough.
Anybody does that anymore.
Do you remember? Was it not like in the 80s and 90s? Was there's not like, which was Northwest? No. Was it not like on the 47? Was it not like one airline that did 253 or something like that?
There was a 252.
252. So imagine the 5 must be like you're in the middle.
Terrible.
It's the worst thing in the world, man.
Terrible. Well, the L1011, the TriStar.
Oh yeah, that was also
252.
Like 252. I think you're right.
And then the DC-10 had that wacky like 342. It was off by one on one side.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one I remember. Yeah,
something.
I don't. Anyway, but something like that. These dudes don't exist anymore. Usually, it's 10 abreast is the top.
Yeah.
Is a max that we have. Yeah.
So for the return,
the Japanese, I just want to say before I forget, the Japanese airlines are the only ones we can still have 9 abreast instead of 10.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure both JAL and ANA, they do not run 10 abreast. If you fly economy, I think, and you don't want to be too cramped, I believe that they still do not, they didn't go to 10 abreast yet.
I'm counting.
He's not sure. He's thinking about your JAL flights.
I'm thinking about the JAL flight. I think it was an Airbus configuration in a Boeing. It was 242.
242. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But see, 242 is 8. What?
Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 242.
We're very AI. 2 plus 4 plus 2. I need. Neither Vinod or me can do it like in a split second. We're so bad.
So there's one more aircraft that they have. It's the A330.
Oh.
Yeah, they have. I had to look up and see how many of these aircraft they still. They actually still have 20 A330-300s.
Oh, wow.
Running. But you don't see them around a lot. Like they ply them on a lot of the international routes.
Okay.
Montreal is a big A330 hub. So all your Montreal to Lisbon to Barcelona is A330. It's very much out of these. When I booked this trip in June for the return, I looked at the choices. Again, basically 1 or 2 times. I saw this one flight, is it the 6 something? Whatever the time was. It was an A330. I'm like, oh, my old friend, I haven't been on that for a long time. Because it actually hasn't. It's been a long time. The last time I flew it, I can't even remember when.
I was about to say, I was trying to think. I don't want to open flighty now, but it's been a while I haven't flown a 330.
Yeah.
I don't think I've flown one since COVID for sure. Holy cow. Yeah, you're right.
Since COVID, yeah, same. Since COVID, I have not flown one.
But more, yeah.
Yeah, it's been.
And nobody has bought the 330 Neo.
Yeah. Discover.
No, it's a 330.
Actually, Condor has them.
Condor has them. Oh, I've seen Condor in Joburg. Oh my, they look cool. The stripes,
right? Yeah, man, we get them here in Vancouver.
They look so cool. You know what? Again, maybe it's not everybody's taste and cup of tea. I get it, but it's different. It's trying something totally out there. So I like it a lot.
Yeah. So I book it. I'm like, oh, fantastic. Oh, okay. And it's the 242 configuration. I'm like, perfect. And this is all in economy. So, I'm going to pick a window, an aisle, whatever I want, because it's kind of a neat configuration. And it's the 300. So it's the big one. Nice. And they've retrofitted everything inside. So fine.
Cool.
Now, the other unique thing about Vancouver and Toronto and Air Canada, and I've mentioned this a few times, they have the digital ID boarding process. So, the facial recognition.
Oh, so it's biometrics as well. So digital ID could mean, okay, so wow. So do you have to, how does it work? Do you register with your Air Canada's app?
Yeah, you do everything on the app. You scan your face through the app.
You take a selfie kind of ish thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's your,
Yeah.
They're late. I don't know. In Europe, you have now a few Star Alliance. Is Air Canada Star Alliance, no?
Yeah. It's one of the founding members.
Yeah. I can go on Star Alliance, the app, and register my digital ID, if you call it, let's call it like a profile, which I've done because I just flew, this is from another podcast, another episode, but none of the airports were equipped for that, so I couldn't use it. But yeah, I think so. You have to pre-register somewhere. In your case, is within the app.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and you just nailed it. Are the airports equipped? So,
yeah.
Now, other airports in the world, I think in the Costa Rica trip I mentioned Delta.
Yeah.
Or it scanned my son from like 20 feet away, and amazing, it worked. So in Canada,
sorry to keep interrupting, but it's amazing how the US, because the US sometimes, it's always something I often said about the US. Sometimes you feel like everything, it's dated and old, nothing works. And then they catch up very quickly, overtake everyone, and it's better than everybody else. It's like, they always do that. You're like, the hell are you doing, guys? You're like in 1972. It's only like they're in 2050. And I love that about the US. You have this ability of overcorrection, like, okay, and we're still looking here, and you just say Canada, I mean, looking in Europe, no one truly uses any kind of biometrics. In Dubai, they've been promising that forever. Every time I fly, Emirates is not fully ready yet, or in trial for first class people, and blah, blah, blah. So, and no one, maybe Singapore, maybe they've done it now. I haven't returned to Singapore, but probably because
actually, no, I don't even remember.
Oh yeah, you went. Yeah, you said.
I don't know. Sorry, the passport control, but in terms of the gate and the boarding and all, it's nothing.
Yeah, I know they all talk about it. Basically, everybody talks a big game, but they don't do it.
So digital ID. So I've been using digital ID out of Vancouver for about a year now. I think it was the launch airport for their service, and it was all very new. I was probably one of the first, and inevitably, it's still either not well known or people are a bit nervous about signing their face off into the ether of all of that. Face off.
Remember
the movie?
Exactly. I love that movie.
You and I will do that one day. On our screen.
Just, do you have to, I know it's a very detail here, but do you have to register every time, or is it a stored digital ID that stays with you?
Stored.
Oh, that's very cool. Okay.
Yeah. So what they do, and they just like any other airline, they have your zone boarding, they have the pre-boarding and all this stuff. So it's been saying this for over a year now on the app, for a limited time, board with zone 2. I'm like, fantastic. So no matter where I sit on the plane, I'm going to board with the zone 2. This is the best thing ever.
That's a very good way to encourage people from doing it. Of course, only AvGeeks think about it probably, but yeah. So can you actually board in group 2? That's cool.
Well, so this is where things get interesting. So you go to the gate, and you have all the standard lines like the zone, and then you have the premium zone. And then what they do is they attach a secondary sign that says digital ID boarding, arrow pointing down. So zone 1 is pointing. It's great that we have the
video.
It's pointing this way, and the same sign, digital ID, is pointing this way. But there's no extra stanchion to say that it is actually a line. It just says go in this spot. So you're kind of in this area where other people are passing by, and you're staring at you see the equipment, it's all there. So I remember the very first time I used it, I was probably one of the first because the whole tech team was there. The manager of, I don't know, IT was there. And they were so excited to see someone come up and, it turns green and boom, the thing opens. So they came to me to talk. They're like, "Oh,
no way!
Are you?" I'm like, "Yes." Like, "Oh, okay." This is
finally
someone. So they called boarding, and then they all looked at me and said, "Okay, go now." Okay.
You can do it. You can do it. They see nothing will explode suddenly or something.
And I think I provide an extra challenge because I wear glasses. And I never know. And you can all see I have prominent glasses, not like subtle glasses.
But they're not like these architect glasses either. So they have thick frames, but not like super.
You can see But I also never know. I'm like, is this thing gonna go?
Yeah, depending on I'm sure.
Yeah. So I walked up. It worked. And you could see all these IT people, like they were going to go for beers after because like, my God, it worked.
Celebrations.
We got one passenger and we're done.
Yes, we're done.
Yeah. So
see you next month.
Yeah. So this whole process has been developing over the year, and a few more people suddenly using it. They've also now added it to security.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Now, again, in Canada, we have a few different things. In the US, they have the TSA pre-check. In Canada, we have a system called Nexus for the frequent travelers. Same thing. In Vancouver, like any airport, renovating. And now they've been installing those fancy new machines where you take nothing out of your bag because the machine sees all.
That's what we have here now.
Yeah, kind of like a Star Trek thing.
That changes. Honestly, that changes the game.
It does,
because security is the bottleneck.
Yeah,
and I mean, it still is because you still have to remove your belt and stuff. So for certain people who are not as fast as you and me, probably because we're ready even before we reach there. But at least for the whole the getting stuff out, it's just amazing. Honestly,
so good.
It's really it is.
So what they've done is they've taken all this Nexus type people, and they've created a separate security checkpoint on an upper level.
Okay.
Yeah, which once you come to Canada, you'll see that to go to this upper level is not that it's inconvenient, but it's also inconvenient. Like you come in, say if you come in curbside, whether you're dropping a bag, whether you're not dropping a bag, you're just in the mix of all, and the main security is in the right spot. You then have to sort of backtrack, go up as if you're about to leave the airport, do some U-turn, and end up in this place for the frequent, Nexus frequent traveler section. You go through, and then it spits you back down at the same place where you're going to join in with everyone else coming out of security.
Okay.
So sure, maybe it's going to go faster, but I always wonder. So
yeah.
On this one trip, I did a rookie move. I left the Nexus card behind because you actually have to have the physical card with you on this one.
Oh, you have a physical card, and you need to go to show it
You just show it to the agent to prove.
And you left it on their
I left it at home.
On their booth or what?
No, I left it at home.
Oh,
I didn't have it.
Man.
So, that sucks. Well, it is what it is. I mean, I have plenty of time. Like, no big deal. And right, digital ID. Right. So I walk up, and there's nobody else using this thing. Beautiful scanner thing. I don't know. What does this do? Let's have a go, because I don't know. Is it going to express me? Does it give me any extra privilege? I don't know. So walk up. It's amazing. Just stand there, scan, boom, the gate opens. Yeah, I walk in, and
sci-fi.
It is sci-fi, and at least here in Vancouver, it spits you right to the front. You beat everybody else out, and the agent doesn't even check you. Nothing. They just like, yep, go ahead.
That's great.
I was like, this. I might probably use this more than having to go up to this other checkpoint. That's
great. I mean, this is the airport of the future. I mean, I don't know airport, but this is the path of the future. All these bottlenecks, man. I mean, this is what makes the whole airport experience suck. So
yeah. I'm kind of blending flights here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I get through the digital thing before I get into my what happened on the way 330? On my last departure out of Vancouver, we went to a different gate. And again, it's the interpretation of the staff and how they're going to execute these systems that are in place. So same thing, the same sign, zone 1 this way, digital that way, same thing. It's all there. I mean, I know what to do. A couple more people this time. It's a few more that want to use it. Great.
Because Vinod, the trendsetter, had been there.
Yes. They've listened to the Layovers podcast thinking, I must do this.
There you go. So it's either you queue at Berghain or you are doing digital ID in Vancouver. These are the two queues you can choose from when you listen to this podcast. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So the guy in front of me, just like me, digital ID. And the only reason why we bothered to talk to each other, because the guy behind me was a rookie. Yeah. He's like, oh, hey, this is the digital. Yes, it is. Why are you bothering me? But okay. Well, what do I do? I'm like, I don't want to talk to you right now. But I'll be friendly because this is Canada and we're friendly.
Well, that's true. That's true.
So he's come in and he's like, okay, this is a new thing for him. Great. There's only 4 of us in line. They call pre-board. They call zone 1. And then you could see us, your muscles just twitch up like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Staring like laser focus at that
so
gate.
True, man. I just came, again, not this podcast, I just came from a trip where it was a mess at the, at the pen in front of the gate. And I'm like, it's going to be me. I need to be first. I need to go, not first in the aircraft, but like I need to, as soon as so your muscles are twitching, your tendons are like the tenser possible. Your feet are in position. You're like, it's like you're waiting at the Olympics. Exactly. Yeah, somebody hold me. I'm about to go. And you're waiting for the bang, the pistol, to let you go. Anyway, yeah.
With the agent, so they call zone 2, and we're pretty much ready to take that step. And the agent's holding us. You should have seen the feeling of how dare you?
Exactly.
No. We know that you don't know.
It's, I think, sorry, I know I keep interrupting you, but I think the fact that they give these group numbers creates this kind of hierarchy status. And once you're set in your mind, you're number 2, group 2. If you cannot go a group 2, you're
done.
Angry because they told you you're group 2. The king has arrived and knighted you as group 2, and then they're removing your privileges right in front of everybody else. It's horrible. Right. And that's all the fault of the airlines with your 25 groups. When you don't, okay. So tell us what happened, because why would you not be your knighted group 2?
Exactly. So this agent, just his style, you could see he didn't care. He's like, whatever, it's just another group. So finally, he says, okay, board. Well, Zone 2 is in full force. Like there's like 50 people. Zone 2 is quite it's Starline's Gold and blah, 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 everybody, exactly. Right? So we had to zipper merge as if you're merging onto a highway, and just friendly. Oh yeah, okay, well I'm going in because on our own accord, fine. And then you get to the physical desk thing, and then you split again because most of Zone 2 is going to the traditional with the beeping, and we're there doing the scan.
Facial, yeah.
And it's fine. It's seamless. The thing opens and bang, race in, go in. On the last trip, which was not on a wide body, which I'll get to in a bit, but just wrap up the digital thing. I board, I sit down, fine. Next thing you know, they're paging me on the system. If is on the plane.
Where are you at this point with the paging you? You're in the aircraft?
I'm sat in my seat already.
Oh, wow.
We're mid-boarding. I'm sat in my seat. I'm like, why? What have I done? Yeah. And I'm not expecting to be upgraded because I don't have any thing for it. Well, here comes that same agent, throttles down, layered with everybody else. And very rudely, he's like, I need your ID. I'm like,
oh.
Why? And I already knew why, because I think obviously something with the digital, there was some verification that they didn't do. It's a step that they missed.
Oh.
So I just fish it out calmly because there's like people in line. There's other people behind me. Like I just give my ID. He's like, thank you. I said, is there a problem? Didn't even bother to respond and turned around and tried to go upstream on a narrow body.
Exactly.
Yeah. I actually wrote in a complaint because I was quite pissed off about the whole thing. But
yeah, it's not, at least it could be professional.
Explain, say anything. Yeah. Just say, missed a computer glitch, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very odd. Anyway, so this is the whole digital thing. Toronto doesn't have this.
Oh. Which is surprising.
It's their hub. It's a very...
I was about to say, and Toronto is a business city, is like can I call it the business capital of Canada in a way?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it is.
You'd
it's
assume
a financial. It's a financial.
Yeah,
hub.
financial business, financial. You'd assume that it would, with the kind of people that must be visiting for business reasons, they'll have that ready. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So now back to the June trip. So I'm hopping around a bit, but I'm looking forward to A330. And typically I'll go through my Saturday and, I'm in these board meetings and, I've checked in already. Inevitably, Saturday by the afternoon is when the thing starts lighting up. Air Canada app, Flighty all start to light up because, like I said, I've never made it on time. There's always a delay. And sure enough, on this day, by 2 or 3 p.m., Flighty's always ahead of it immediately. I love it. It's great.
Yeah,
Boom.
I think I would say Flighty is always very good, but I'm hearing that it is especially good in North America.
It is,
Whereas in Europe, I've seen, so in UK is pretty good, but I've seen other places where sometimes it's not as fast as the airline, or like in Africa, it was not as fast as the airline, trust me. Airlink was great at giving us, text messages.
Yeah.
They were always the first one to know. I'm guessing the data providers are not as good maybe there, but North America, yeah. So it's
yeah. So in this particular run home, the last few trips, one of my friends has joined this board that I'm on, so we fly back together typically, and we'll try and sit together. So on the A330, I'm like, oh, fantastic! Everything's a 2-seater. We can't really just pick any 2-seater economy. It's all fine. Like, we're not fussed about bulkhead or anything. It's all good. And right away it says the aircraft equipment has changed. I'm like, okay. Wait.
Does Flighty tell you anything?
Flighty told me right away.
Oh.
So now it says I'm going to be on a 777-300. It's the same thing I came in on. And the first immediate reaction is like, wait a minute. Okay. So me and my friend are booked into what is you mentioned it, A and C seats, because you hold the window and the aisle are always going to be A and C.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to a 343 configuration. What are they going to do? Because it doesn't, it works, but that means is someone going to be in the middle or not? So it was a aircraft equipment change and a slight delay. I'm like, oh, well, okay. So immediately I start looking up, okay, where was that A330 coming from? Where's this 777 coming from? Forget the board meeting. This is more important. Just to track the whole thing.
The same, man.
Right.
More concerned about I was working this past Saturday, again, other podcasts, and I was like checking flight thing, trying to change a seat, and I was like I was listening to no one for an hour just to try to change one seat. Anyway, go ahead.
I think it was coming in from like Brussels or something, and somewhere one of these 20 silly A330s had gone mechanical. I think I traced something back. Oh, okay, fine. Well, that's the way it is. But and this is why I do like flying Air Canada, because they have so many wide bodies in their fleet that they can replace enough quickly, to go around. Yeah, with the other airlines, it's a bit tighter. So, oh well, there goes the A330. So much for that. 777-300. So it automatically assigned the same seat. So say if we were in 24AC, there is a 24A and C on the 777. So we said, okay, well, that's the way it's going to be. And then the delay started to roll. So first it was a time delay. So from 6 p.m. it became 7.
Okay. We
go to the airport. We're in security. Literally as we came out of security, and we had plans to go to one of the lounges because he actually had access to a Plaza Premium lounge right there. We check our phones. It lights up again. Another delay layered on.
Oh, come on.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Okay, fine. And the one thing that's great about Flighty is you're tracking the registrations, and the registrations were hopping all over the place. So on the A330, I think I'd been through about 3 different registrations of that aircraft that I was theoretically supposed to go on. The 777 now, I think it had done one switch. So from one, then it became another. Okay, fine. And luckily with Air Canada, they're all the same configuration. It's not like some of these airlines where it's like, version 4.
Yeah.
So lounge review. So Toronto Pearson domestic Terminal 1 Plaza Premium Lounge. It's busy. It's in a very unique spot. So it's literally you've repacked your bag after putting your belt on, and the door's right there. Like actually right there.
Mm-hmm.
So they put that lounge there, and on the other side, there's like 10 different lanes of the security is the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge.
Okay.
There's the 2. The Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge I've been in for a long time. It hasn't really changed a whole lot, but I thought, okay, let's try the Plaza Premium Lounge. Well, that was an interesting experience.
Was it?
Let's just say it's a bit more mainstream.
Look. Stop being so condescending. The Plaza Premium, I've never been to any in the North America. Plaza Premium, we have some, of course, over here. And yeah, it's never been the apex of lounges to me.
No.
Doesn't mean that they're bad. They're serviceable.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I associate them with like a normal third-party lounge. I do not expect too much. I do not think it's going to be bad. I'm just like, it's really, like I was asking you about it's in the second third, right? It's like, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. And the first thing I notice, time limit of...
How much?
I think it was 90 minutes.
90, that's very short, man. I mean, that's unfair. I mean, I don't know how it is in North America nowadays because I know you had like this boom of like too many people in lounges, but usually it's 2 to 3 hours at least, right?
Yeah.
Not 90 minutes.
It is a fairly small lounge. So you go in and, there's the food service area with your food eating tables. And then on the left is the quote unquote lounge seating. and in the back is sort of like those sort of blocky, comfy chairs, and that's pretty much it.
Wow.
There's not much else to it. Anyway, we somehow managed, and I think we must have hit it at a peak period because there was like 40 people in line in front of us when we went in. It was
in line to check into the lounge.
Yeah, because there's people and their families and their children and everybody. Like, so we went in. We're like, "Eey." So we sat at the bar for a few minutes, and then we managed to grab one of the comfy seats. As we sit down for that, further delay, another 2 hours on top of this, and another aircraft change.
I mean, like, it's still the still 777.
Nope,
again.
No, it's changed.
What is it now? What is it now?
7879.
Oh, I mean, well, that's a nice aircraft.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So I was like, well,
still a wide body.
It's still a wide body. The seats remain. You know, whatever it was, continue with 24 AC. So what's going on? Like, this is unusual. Like,
yeah, that's a lot of aircraft changes. That's true. I mean,
it's pretty much every wide body they have. 330,
rotating through
777-3.
Where's the next one? We need another one.
Well, there is one more. We'll get to that one in a bit. So 787-9, fine. I look it up. The thing had come in from, it might have been Frankfurt actually. Something from Europe, you know.
It's doomed if it's coming from Frankfurt. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now, Toronto appears then, you know, there's an international arm. This is the Air Canada Terminal 1 wing, and then there's a domestic wing. So I saw this plane had come in at whatever time, fairly close to so within the 2 hours. And I thought, oh, okay, when they have to post the 2 hours, okay, that probably means they have to take the aircraft, tow it across from the international over the domestic, because now they're rerouting this aircraft, clean it, cater it, all this kind of stuff. Oh, okay, fine. So I kind of forgot about all that, and we continued to have some more beers, and we said, well, forget the 90 minutes. We're sitting here until someone says so. And they're not tracking. Nobody's tracking anything. It's just signs on a wall. So,
true.
Yeah. So we go, and finally it's time for boarding. And this is a common thing in Toronto. We call it the hammerhead. We have all the wide bodies stuck at the end of this pier, this large pier. There's like 6 gates. The microphones are on top of each other. There's not enough room to queue. It's just, I don't know. And unlike 5C, there's about 20 food outlets right there. So there's like the noise and the action.
I was about to say, it's a good and a bad thing. You have something to do, but it creates like this kind of, food hall noise. Yeah.
Yeah, so whenever they go to do boarding there, it's pandemonium. There's queuing, there's cross queuing, there's announcements over each other. They sometimes play the automated machine announcements, then they do their own, and then every agent has their own style and accent, which is the beauty of living here. I mean, it's great. You have different cultures, but then understanding it, and then with the demographic and the type of passengers. So what really annoyed me is we leave from the lounge with quite a bit of time, because we were like, we're bored. Oh, they issued us a food voucher. I'm like, well, let's get the food voucher or use the food voucher to take on the plane. So we left that lounge with probably at least 45 minutes before departure. So like, okay, well, 15 minutes, get the food, and 30 minutes boarding, fine. The plane had been sitting there the whole time. When I realized which gate it was, because when I was in the lounge, I was out staring at the sunset, at the tails. There's a 787-9. I was staring at the tail that I was about to fly on for the last 2 hours of that delay.
Wow, yeah.
So I was like, this must be a crewing issue or something.
I was about to ask, did you ever figure out what happened, or was it just, no, it's just like, probably, you like people timed out and something.
Yeah, they never gave us a reason, but immediately.
No, of course they would not, but maybe you heard about it. So there was something must have happened for sure, yeah.
Yeah, but Air Canada, they can be very smart as well, because in Canada, like anywhere else, any delay past the 3 hours, you're eligible for compensation, all this kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So we get on. Well, we'll talk about that, the timing thing aside. So we get on, like, is there anybody in between us? because I'm in the aisle, or I'm actually at the window. My friend's in the aisle. Sure enough, they landed someone in between us.
Oh, well.
I was like, I thought, for sure, with all these delays, there's enough people being stripped off, pulled off other flights, reaccommodated here and there.
Yeah, but was it a full flight at the end?
I couldn't tell. Our area was full. But
okay,
I didn't bother to walk down to the back. So.
Yeah, fine.
So in the end, someone had to move, and someone took the middle, and it all worked. They landed that plane with 4 minutes to spare before hitting the 3-hour delay mark.
Smart.
Very smart. Yeah.
Well, that's how you recognize good management, I guess.
Yeah. And you've been mentioning throughout the whole thing about hammering out a meal in a plane. I mean, it's North America. There's no such thing as free meals on planes in economy. It's
don't worry, it's the same in Europe.
It's buy on board. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, buy on board.
Yeah.
Look, I don't always want to eat, and it's fine. I'm just saying that one airline did it. I don't know who started it, and then it was like, oh, we can also do it, and they just cheapened the entire idea of flying, which fine. I'm not plus do not get food. It's possible to make it a slightly better experience, but they do not.
So, they ran these wide bodies, and it makes for, you feel like you're going somewhere simply because it's a wide body. Yeah, okay, it's a 5-hour flight.
100%, but
but because they use these as massive connection traffic, you're getting people going places beyond just, in this case, Toronto. And that brings me to that last aircraft that I mentioned, which is a unique run. There's a flight here. It's Air Canada 33 and 34 is a flight number. It starts off as 33. It goes Toronto, Vancouver, Sydney, Australia. It turns around, Sydney, Vancouver, Toronto. And they sell it as that. So as a person that lives in Toronto, you can go online and book, I'm going to go to Sydney, Australia on AC33. You'll get off in Vancouver for them to groom the plane, change the crew. You do whatever you need to do, and then you get back on and continue.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're using the 777-200 LR on this.
I love that one.
Yeah. So they only have 6 of them, and they're all reaching around just under 20 years old. So,
I was about to say not a lot of, I know that Qatar has them.
BA has the 200, but not the LR.
Not the LR. I'm thinking about the LR. Was it Emirates? Do they still have them? I did an LR to Japan a long time ago. I don't know. Yeah, but these are not. But I mean, they're not the most. They're rarer than the other ones.
Yeah. So my trick now is to always book the AC33 because I've found that one they're really trying to protect, because that thing then has to go all the way to Sydney and come all the way back. They need to try and keep that thing on time.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right?
You started to say it started to protect, and I was like, what, protect the cleanliness of the aircraft? I didn't realize where you were going with that. Yeah, of course they want it to be on time because it's a long haul. So
the ramifications are huge, because that thing goes offline about your whole crewing, your hours, everything gets.
Of course, it makes sense.
Right? So the last 2 times I've flown that, I've been on time. So my last trip back on that flight was a success, which has been great. Nice. So my wife is like, please book that 33 flight.
Is it a nice experience? Is it what's the configuration there?
Same thing. They've gone to high density. 343.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, everybody nowadays again.
Yeah. So it's fun, to be able to pick on these wide bodies, this domestic. That being said, I mentioned that last little teaser about the A321s that Air Canada's used. When I went out on my last flight to Toronto, because of the timing, I had to go on a narrow body. So okay, that's fine. They have installed cameras on the tail cam and an underbelly cam. Which is a little bit rare for an older 321. The HD high def of this camera is insane. Wow. It was so good that you could see the tires smoke on landing. It was incredible.
So do you think they retrofit?
They retrofit.
Yeah, because if you take when you fly the 350, which has cameras, I mean, I guess it's an option. The airlines do not have to put the cameras, or at least do not have to activate them on the IFE. But for those who do, because there's a recent aircraft, it's so neat.
Yeah.
You're like working 4K resolution of your. It's amazing, man. I love it. It's
So
the only
good.
channel I want to ever watch, right? If it's. I find it almost disappointing. I cannot agree. I think I said it. It was one of the few past 7 episodes. I remember I flew an Airbus because Airbus have them, where they did not activate the cameras. The cameras were not available, and I was so disappointed because for me it's like the channel I want to watch all throughout. Right?
Yeah.
I put especially when you're in the air. I want the tail one, the one that overlooks the entire aircraft, and you can see, of course, daytime. At nighttime, you can just see the flashing lights most of the time. But I think daytime, it's so beautiful.
Yes.
It's like the best channel ever, man. I don't want anything else.
If you have that, and if you could somehow have like ATC to
back,
match with it.
And you need Starlink maybe for that, so you can access whatever. No, it's just amazing. I agree.
Speaking of Starlink, the last point, we talk about Wi-Fi a lot on this show. So Air Canada, it has, I think Bell is the provider. That's one of the local network providers. You can pay for Wi-Fi, but for frequent flyer, which is Aeroplan, you get the standard, the free texting level of Wi-Fi.
The free messaging thing. Yeah.
Secretly, it actually pumps up. So, and the only reason is...
Why are you saying this? I know you can go around it. Of course.
It actually... I've been able to like scroll Facebook and all these things.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Voice again. You can. I mean, there's even ways where you can just cheat, make it believe it's actually messaging. You cannot stream guys with that, right? It's not as if it's going to be...
To pull a movie, it's not going to happen.
No, exactly.
But I was able to pull my home security camera feeds live from the plane.
So I don't know the full details because I've tried stuff. But so either it could be simply that the airline is blocking many things and just your home security system is not under IP block. I don't know. Or, I don't know. Yeah. Or maybe your home system uses the same type of routing that the Facebook Messenger. I don't know. But anyway, I know it's possible because I've tried it and I've found ways to trick the system. No, I'm not hacking the aircraft, right? This is not what we're saying here. But it's always worth testing your options. But you're not going to be able to watch Netflix or Paramount Plus to watch Landman, which I said, no. You have to,
But for just aimlessly scrolling, well, on that last flight on the 321, I had a headphone failure, just like you. I was so annoyed that I was like, I'm just going to buy one in Toronto. Let's see if anyone's selling one on Facebook Marketplace of what I want. I'm sitting there scrolling, and then halfway through, I'm like, I've been scrolling this whole time as if I've been home on the plane.
The plane.
And it was good. So,
I should have said, it's true. So Apple was able to repair my AirPod thing, but I had to use a headset from BA on the way back. It's not as comfortable. Let's put it that way, but it fine.
Works. Yeah.
It works exactly.
Anyway, those are the trips of recent and my qualms with Air Canada.
I think, did you read? I mean, it was all over the news in the past few days, so I think we'll finish with that. But the 777-300ER is no longer in production.
I saw that.
End of the line. It's of course after it's like nearly 20 years, right? It's to make place for the 777X, of course. I think I haven't checked. I should have checked, but I think out of the I would say it's nearly 2,000 777s in total, all variant. I mean, it could be more, but I would say 2,000. Maybe I'm wrong. I would say this is probably a good third to a half of them must have been the 300ER. It's been widely successful. It's been widely successful. It's a fantastic aircraft.
When I worked for BA, it was the 200 because the 300 didn't exist. But the minute that 300 came out, it was like the world just said, "Oh yeah, 200, 300."
Bye, ex-girlfriend. We just want the new girl in town. No, but and I love it. I love it. And it's one of the aircraft that all the 777s have changed because the face of modern long haul aviation because twin engine. But the 300ER with the capacity and the length it can go, it's just fantastic aircraft. I mean, of course it has to move, but man, the 777X is still not there. Have you seen? He's delayed again.
Yep.
is instead of 2026, it's going to be 2027.
Yep.
It's just
ridiculous.
Imagine the amount of money that these airlines that have put orders. Air Canada didn't order the 777X, by the way. No. Imagine all these airlines, obviously Emirates because they ordered a shit ton, and others that these are multi-year strategies. When they say we're putting these aircraft, like some of the aircraft get long in the tooth, not because they want to keep them, but because this aircraft is not coming. And it's not as if let's buy 2 350 whilst we wait. Right? Some airlines do. I mean, clearly Emirates has clearly bought the 350. I think part of it because they're like, okay, well, it's not coming. I mean, the 777X was supposed to enter service in 2019.
Is that long ago?
Yeah, that's 2019. It's going to be, and Lufthansa, which is the launch customer, I don't think it's, are they still? I think.
They still.
Lufthansa placed the first order in 2013, man. We're in 2025 and it's going to slip to 2027. I'm like, the 787, I looked it up. I think was an ID in 2003 and it flew in 2009. And it was in service in 2011. So it was really pretty fast, right? Yeah. And let's not even talk about the 777 we just mentioned, not the 300ER, but I think the original. I think it was launched in 90 and flew in 94. Yeah, but I mean, exactly. He entered service probably 95, 96, but I mean, the ID was in 90. That's 6 years. I mean, I'm sure the 777X will be a huge success. I'm sure there's so many things that, to me, makes it that will be probably the most popular long-haul aircraft. It will beat the 350. It will beat all of them. But still, God, it's delayed. I mean, 2027. Tim Clark, the CEO of Emirates, may be pissed off. He keeps saying, "What the hell are you doing, Boeing?" I mean, I get it. They want to do it right. There's probably lots of challenges and hurdles to clear before they can. But I mean, it's really late. It's shambles. But and I would add, sorry, because I'm rambling now, and then we'll close the podcast. It's not even the Dreamliner, as you heard me, just took longer than the 777. It was still a pretty, let's say 2003 to 2011, which is long, but it was an entirely new design. They had never done
from the ground up, right?
Exactly. The 777X is a derivative. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that will be, but they have now the experiences of the Dreamliner, and it's a derivative, and it's still not here. I mean, just but I think it will be a smash hit. I think the fact that it's 5-inch wider than the current 777X means that you can do 10 abreast. We were discussing that just before with you. Yeah. We do 10 abreast more comfortably. And that beats the 350 currently. The reason it's more comfortable is also because the 777 10 abreast is a bit tight.
Yes.
But these 5 inches, it seems like nothing, but in economy, it will make a difference. The 350 is 9 abreast, by the way. It's not 10. But I mean, to maintain that same level, a competitive level of comfort, the 777X, and the larger windows, the same as the Dreamliner, basically higher for someone like me, so I can see something and not have to crowd. Right? And the LED and the big storage bins that, I mean, Boeing says it guarantees everybody will be able to put a carry-on. But I mean, I've flown. Have you flown recently with airlines that have put these larger overhead bins? Have you been?
Yes.
Have you had the chance?
Yeah. On the narrow bodies, you mean? Yeah. Actually, Air Canada, the A321 had that.
It's amazing.
It's such a game changer.
There's no fight for overhead bin space anymore.
As long as the passenger knows to do it.
Yeah. I will talk about that in the next podcast. We're reaching nearly 3 hours, but yes, I think it's just a muscle memory. People just put them things like in horizontal, and their mind still not correct. But I think there's also, let's not do that today. There's also a design flaw from the airline, how to explain how to put these things as your carry-on. So I think the 777X will be a smashing success. I think it will actually change again the face of aviation for long-haul travel. But come on, Boeing, just release it. Well, that was a long one, but as you know, people, there's something called the pause button, so you can break down the episode in multiple files. I'm really sorry, Vinod, because I really held the microphone for 2 hours talking about my trip.
No, it was fantastic. That's a great.
I think you appreciate that. I will do more soon with more stories. I'll run the music, but just slow so we can ask you where you're flying next. I don't want to F it up again. There you go. So, where do you fly next? Do you know?
Another Air Canada wide-body domestic on the books coming. Yeah.
Is it the AC 33 or 34?
That's a good question. I actually have to see what I booked. Yeah, I think the timing might be a little bit off on that one. And then getting ready for a big trip in the winter coming. But yeah,
don't spoil it.
No,
You'll tell me after I pause the recording. I stop the recording. For me, we'll probably record one either with you or with Alex before Edinburgh, close by, and the US with interesting mix of airlines. Guys, I just do this for the podcast because at some point, like, I'm making my life harder to take some weird airline. Not weird, but you'll understand when I get there. So yeah, that will be mid-November. But I truly hope we'll have another episode since then. So
very good.
Happy faces to you because everybody looks at you on camera. So I hope we're not too ugly for you guys. And happy flying, everyone.
Take care, guys.